I'm saying. All I'm saying.
Oh, well. Ladies and gents, it is time. It is time. We are very early today. We have to be because I don't feel like being on here at 9 o'clock at night, and I have something else I have to do. So we're gonna be over here doing hot takes. But first, I want to get some stuff out the way first with Q&A because I got asked some questions on Instagram, and I told everyone that they can come over here and ask them. Sir, Let's see. Let's turn it down a little bit so we have the music in the background. Okie dokie. So Kayla was first in the comments. Thank you, Kayla, for being first. Thank you for showing up and commenting. Sasha was next. Sasha said, "What's up, Tips? Up, everybody? I hope everyone had a great day." Because she said y'all truly deserve it. Honestly, appreciate that. That is wonderful. Okay, and Brandy's here as usual. The usual suspects are here. I'm pretty sure people will file in when they get off work or out of school, or they finally get a chance to read damn Lex. But it is Q&A, and it is time to talk. Yes. So I was swirling some ideas in my head about wrestling, but the first thing I want to talk about during this time of the show is MJF. So if you guys don't know who MJF is, because I know some of y'all are not AEW types of people, okay? You guys aren't AEW people, which is fine. Some of you watch all the promotions, some of you don't. Okay. And that's fine. I am not shitting on any of that. I totally understand if you enjoy AEW for what it brings to the table. It should bring some enjoyment to some people. But MJF has come under a lot of fire and scrutiny. Okay. He's been, he's been doing a lot lately. He's been talking a lot, and then he also has been, just doing a lot. So we're gonna pull up a couple pics of MJF so we can make sure that you guys see what I mean, so you can visually understand people's frustrations, and why it can kind of look improper, and why it doesn't look good on MJF's part, and why sometimes a lot of fans excuse his behavior because he's a heel. And I think that there has to be a line when it comes to some of this stuff. So let's just pull up some of these pictures. I don't know, for whatever reason they don't want me to save certain pictures. It's kind of pissing me off, but I'm gonna try my best to get the picture out. Let me put my glasses on. Cause child, I can't see worth a damn. I can't. Oh, that's much clearer. Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's real good. So if you don't know, what you don't know is a lot right now. Okay. Let me pull it up over here so you guys can see Mr. MJF. You can physically see him. All right. All files. All right. All right. Okay, here we go. All right. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is MJF. He is the current reigning AEW champion, and he just won his first major battle for the AEW championship to retain it at AEW Revolution. This was in an Iron Man match, I want to say. If I'm wrong, you can correct me in the comments, but I believe it was an Iron Man match or a last man standing match, something along those lines. She said, "Oop, my food and drink just came in time. I'm about to smash." Well, MJF is in trouble. Well, at least in the IWC's eyes, he's in trouble. MJF threw a drink from a fan. Like, he took the drink from a fan and then threw it in a child's face. Now, this is interesting. it was interesting because it happened and it seemed like it happened out of nowhere. But this also has, it seems like, according to Fightful Select, which I generally don't believe was something, but this was supposed to be a spot that was actually supposed to happen on Monday Night Raw as well, where a wrestler would throw a drink in someone's face during a match. Though it wasn't revealed who was going to have been doing it, who was going to involve. It was a spot that was planned that was before AEW show had even went on air prior to the weekend. So when it came around to Monday Night Raw, WWE decided to cut that spot out. But to go back to MJF threw a drink in a fan's face during his match with Bryan Danielson. It sparked a big controversy online for a lot of people. Some people are very upset that he did this. They thought it was very disrespectful to that fan and to the kid. Some people are blowing it off as it being a one-off thing. He's a heel. He's supposed to do heel things. And me personally, I believe, it was an Iron Man match. Okay. Well, yeah. I believe that it is there has to be a line. Like, there has to be a line. You cannot do things like this. If you're going to do that, then it needs to be a planned spot. Now I'm not sure of if it was a planned spot or if the mom, was like okay with it. Even if she was, it was embarrassing to the kid, so I'm not okay with that. And he looked like he was a fan. He has an AEW belt on for a kid, and MJF threw a drink in his face. That's fucked up. That's not going to be a memory. He's going to be like, oh yeah, I was there and he threw a drink in my face. Yeah, that made me feel great. I felt like $1 million after that. Palm color people might take it as no, it's wrestling. But I'm gonna say no. This is a little black kid. You were throwing a drink in his face. It's disrespectful. Now, according to Tony Khan, he says he's not going to take the situation lightly. However, I haven't heard or seen him do anything, which leads me to believe that this could have been a planned spot. However, the look on the kid's face and the look on the mother's face could prove otherwise. Like, it could be and it couldn't be. Like, there's two sides to it, and one of them is it could be fake. It could have been planned, and they asked her before the show, like, hey, MJF's coming into the crowd. He has a planned spot. Do you want to be a part of it? Here's what he's gonna do. And her son and her should have agreed to the spot, and then they should have left it at that. I don't know. But let me see. Or you got chips and a drink. It's to the nitty gritty. I think kids should not be involved at all. I mean, I would have to respectfully agree. I'm looking at TMZ and I want to read the article because I didn't read the article. I just heard about the incident, and then I saw people online eviscerating MJF and others were blatantly defending him. But it says on TMZ Sports, which I'll make sure you guys can see it with me. So let me just screen share. Let me make sure it's showing. Let me take MJF's face off. All right, so there's the screen share. All right, so y'all can see what I see. Okay, so it says a young fan was pissed after AEW star. Well, he was mad. AEW star MJF threw a drink in his face at AEW's Revolution event, and now the promotion is trying to make things right. It all went down Sunday at the Chase Center in San Francisco. MJF was fighting Bryan Danielson in a 60-minute Iron Man match when he went after a kid in the crowd. MJF, widely considered to be one of the best heels in the business, walked up to a woman who was standing up for the match, took her drink, and threw it in the kid's face. The incident drew the ire of the crowd. You could see and hear fans booing in the clip, and AEW announcer Taz Eason said on air that it went a little too far there. After the event, reporters asked the AEW champion why he threw the drink at the kid, and he said the kid looked thirsty. What's the second question? Damn, MJF, like... Meanwhile, AEW executive Tony Khan felt differently. He condemned the champ's behavior and said he spent time apologizing to the youngster. Oh, okay, cool. That's cool. We had a serious conversation, and I mean that it's not to be taken lightly. That young man Titus was a real pro about it. We'll see Titus here again in AEW. What? Okay. I believe Titus is actually coming to Sacramento. I was just with him, and he was a real champ about it. The champion didn't act like a champion there, but I think Titus was great. Oh, this is the kid that threw water in his face, and he was able to go backstage and meet his favorite wrestlers. Here he is with Hobbs after the show. Where is his mother? Like, is that his mother standing there, like, with her back to the camera? Like, I'm not even trying to be funny. Like,
what's going on?
Where is your mama at? Like, that's my only question. First of all, I don't give a damn about you giving... Okay. Titus reportedly met some of his favorite wrestlers and even ran into AEW star Powerhouse Hobbs. So Hobbs not one of his favorite wrestlers?
Damn. Apparently not.
Sorry.
That's funny.
I'm like, they singled out Hobbs. I'm like, he ran into his favorite wrestlers was a good enough spot for me. I don't need to know. Like, he even ran into Hobbs. So Hobbs not one of his favorites?
Mm-mm.
Like,
you just happened to be there at the time, my nigga.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't be a fan of Hobbs either. He's cool to dance. But anyway, that's what the dudes say. That's what they say, child. I don't know. I'm at the point now where most of the things MJF does, I'm immune to. However, I will give AEW credit for smoothing things over with the fan, especially if that was not a planned spot and he just did that on a whim, you know. Like, rinse and brush. I mean, I get it. I'm not saying that they have to do everything right and it has to be perfect. I'm just saying that this particular spot was a bit much, and there has to be boundaries. Now, where this conversation goes left is when it hit the IWC that it happened. A lot of people were in their feelings, you know, having issues about it, and they were very much giving. Oh, well, MJF is out here throwing, and look, it was a big to-do online, okay? Ugh. Anyways, I'm gonna go live on my Instagram, because I haven't been live on Instagram in a while, and I usually go live on Instagram on Thursdays, but since I'm going live early here, I'm gonna do double duty. All right, we are live. We are loud, live, and in color. Okay, so for those of you who are coming in on my Instagram, I am talking about the situation with MJF, and damn, 5 people already, and how MJF went over the line when it came to him throwing water on this fan. While AEW was able to smooth everything over and give the kid a really good experience, and then I guess he got tickets to come to the Sacramento show and be there too, I still think that spot should have been planned with an adult. It should not have been planned with a with a child like that because it just looks piss poor in the end. I don't think it was planned. It doesn't seem like it was planned. But the mom, I guess that was his mother that was standing next to him. Like MJF took her cup and just threw it on him. Had that have been me, I'd have whooped his ass. I'm sorry. They would have kicked me out for sure. But had that have been me, it'd have been World War III. I'm not taking you throwing no water on my child. I don't give a damn who you are. I don't care how much of a heel you are. I do not give a damn. You ain't had an ass whooping yet until you piss off a black mother. Okay? So that kind of shit, I can't give you a free pass on doing. If it was an adult and y'all talked to this adult and was like, hey, we got a spot, we planning this spot, we want you to be a part of it. It's real simple. The champ's gonna come through the crowd. He's gonna talk a lot of shit. He's gonna grab your drink. We're gonna make sure you have a good cup of water. He's gonna throw it in your face. We just need you to, act like it was alcohol or something, and it burned a little bit. And then you go about your merry way. We'll get you some AEW merch. We'll take you backstage. You'll get to meet some of the guys, and you'll get to meet the champ. If that was the case, then I would be like, you know what? Okay. But it's an adult. An adult can make that decision. This is a kid. You know what I'm saying? And unless MJF was back there and apologized and made it right with that kid, like kayfabe is non-existent. So it doesn't work that way. You know what I'm saying? You can't just do that kind of shit and then go, oh, well, he's a heel, so it doesn't matter. It does matter. It does matter because a kid wouldn't understand it that way. They don't process it that way. So I imagine that they smoothed everything over because to give everybody transparency, some of y'all coming in a little late on Instagram. I am live on YouTube. If you want to go to YouTube so you can see visuals and stuff, you can go over there on YouTube. It's the same name. Just type it in. It'll come right up. But here's the thing. So I don't believe that this was just a random fan in the crowd. And even if it was, it seems like AEW has smoothed it over. AEW, like Tony Khan went and got the kid, got his mom, and took him backstage, apologized to him, let him meet some of his favorite guys, and then he went in the back and he also got tickets to go to the Sacramento show, I assume. So there's that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just rough. It's a rough thing. And I just wish that MJF would be just a little bit more careful. I'm not saying he can't be his golden heel self. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is he needs to have a boundary. There needs to be boundaries here. And I think that even as a heel, you still need to exercise some restraint. There's a certain level that you can hit. There's a ceiling that you can hit. Like, y'all are okay with motherfuckers talking about your dead parents, and y'all are okay with people coming at your neck. Like, if I was Cody, this goes into a whole nother situation, but like, God forbid something should happen to one of my parents, right? And I'm sitting here and a nigga I don't know is telling me that I'm the daughter that my father always wanted. I will beat your ass. I will beat your ass before I let you disrespect me in my face like that. Okay, that's just mad disrespectful. All right? Like, he dead ass let that man disrespect him on national TV. And I would not have went into the next promo. I'd have been like, first of all, your motherfucking daddy is still here. Okay? Mine is in a box, rotting. While you sitting up here talking about my daddy wanted you to be his son. All right, bet. Your ass can go 6 feet under with him. Since that's where we going, that's where we going. If you gonna keep bringing up my daddy, then I'm gonna put you in a box next to him. Since you want to be with him so motherfucking bad. That's how I would have went with it. Because you done pissed me off then. Now I got to take your ass to the night water. I didn't want to, But I got to, because you done took me to that level. You see what I'm saying? You done went to a whole other level. And Paul Heyman, thick ass, he ain't escaped the wrath either, because it could not have been me. While this motherfucking Jolly Holly, roly poly, cold cut smelling, salami eating bitch is telling me that he gonna take over my wife and he gonna be my daughter's child, my daughter's daddy. Oh, but baby, I am not worried. First of all, I am not worried, Hans. Not even in the slightest. Why would I be? Look at me and look at you. You a fucking troll looking ass. Are you serious? Are you serious? You cannot be serious. You can't. You can't be serious. Like, sir, go to hell. I would have laughed in his face. You don't even know where your neck at. How you gonna steal my wife from me, bro? Like, come on. Come on, son. Come on, son. Like, really? Child, the mess. The absolute mess. The unmitigated gall. That could have been me. Cody is a good one because I would have busted Roman's ass right then and there. Right then and there. Right then and there. I'd have took his ass out. Because ain't no way. Ain't no goddamn way. But if you're coming in late, we was talking about MJF, and the little kid who got water thrown on him during the match at AEW Revolution, and then we moved into Cody Rhodes and the disrespect he's been getting from Roman Reigns and what's his face? I saw an article in here. I saw an article in here that I wanted to talk about, and I'm gonna have to go back to find it. I don't think it was Scorpio Sky. Was it Scorpio Sky? All right. No, it had to be something else. Because I saw the article. I can't fucking find it. Child, it's too much. I can't find it, and it is what it is. All right. So, I'm live on YouTube. If you want to go over to YouTube, that's your business. But I was live over here to let everybody know that I'm live right now. And we was talking about MJF throwing that water on that little kid. And it segued into Roman and Cody. And, of course, Cody and Paul Heyman. You know, Paulie. Okay. It segued into all of that. Okay. Hello, James. How are you? Now, I'm not gonna mess your name up, so you're gonna have to give me the phonetic spelling of your name and, like, you know, sound it out so I can say your name correctly. Because otherwise, I'm just gonna call you Q. I'm serious. I have to find a way to call it to make sure I don't mess up people's name, because I'll mess up a name in a minute, honey. Hello, Aaliyah. How are you? He said, can we get into this tag team toss-up we about to get into? What you talking about? What you talking about? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, babes. So it seemed like more of y'all have come over here onto YouTube than over here on Instagram. But y'all should roll on over to YouTube. It's easier. It's easier to come over to YouTube. YouTube is a bit more lax, and y'all can say whatever y'all want to say because these videos are not monetized. You won't get kicked out for saying what you want to say. Just be within reason and don't attack anybody on YouTube. But YouTube is easier, and I would highly recommend y'all follow me on over here to YouTube because it's just gonna make my life easier. And of course, y'all won't feel like y'all missing nothing because you can see things on YouTube that you can't see on Instagram right now. Plus, like I said, Instagram is like rolling through the damn lives, keeping you from saying stuff. Like like they don't want you to say nothing. They don't want you to do nothing. Child. But we gonna get into it. Y'all come on over here to YouTube and we gonna keep it rocking. All right. I had 17 people in here. Cute. All right. Don says, I'm not seeing another team, which I think they unifying them belts. Oh, they keeping them unified. Okay. She said, it's okay, Tiff. My name is hard to say. I'm gonna try and say it, but I don't want to butcher it. So is it Sequoia or is it Sequoia? Is it Sequoia? Is that how you say it? Did I say it wrong? If I said it wrong, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. If I said it wrong, I'm sorry. I know how I feel, not to your extent of people saying your name wrong, but I know how I feel when people say your name wrong, because when I was a kid growing up, for whatever reason, they could never say my last name wrong. Like, I always say, so it's like say Q. Is that right? Say Q? Say Q James? I want to make sure I get it right, so I don't be messing up your name. So I'm going to keep asking. Oh, good. Okay, so it's say Q. Okay, say Q. I'm going to call you Q because I'm going to mess it up. Eventually, it's going to come a time where I'm going to mess it up. So just for the purposes of me saying your name when you comment, I'm going to call you Q. All right? I know that's wrong. I know that I should be trying, but child, I fuck your name up in a minute. I'm telling you, I have been known to destroy a name, honey. Been known. Y'all, I went and bought me a Pepsi today, and that thing was hitting. It was good, and it had a lot of carbonation in it. I said, ooh, now I know why I used to drink this. I'm my only one. Sammy and Kevin versus the Usos. I'm glad that we're not having another tag team turmoil. Okay, so Sammy and Kevin versus the Usos. More than likely, that probably I'm hoping that that's what happened, because they are dragging it out, honey. Dragging it out. Let me tell you something. If they let Sammy and Kevin get the unified belts, but eventually they lead to splitting them, I don't have a problem with that. Okay, I'm okay with that. I think that'll be a good idea, but I do think it's fair for whoever gets the titles off of the Usos that they beat them and get to keep the titles for at least a little while. Even if they decide to go ahead and start splitting them later, at least they have the opportunity to get the titles, period, off of the Usos. So I'm okay with that aspect of it. And then Donnie said, I'm glad we're not having another tag team turmoil. I have to agree, because it seemed like there's no other way to take those titles off of them. And honestly, like, that would make sense to us. That would make sense to us in sense of this was a plausible opportunity to take the titles off of them. And it, in the grand scheme of things, it was the best decision, right? Because I just don't want to watch a tag team turmoil and then the Viking Raiders get the titles. And you're just like, 2 years and now you can get the titles. Great. Amazing. I'm all right. I took a little nap before the hot take time, and now I'm well rested. Cool. Michelle Anderson thinks that Trish might turn on Lita because she wants to be the tag team champion. I don't think they're here for a long time. They're just here for a good time. Honestly, I don't see them keeping them tag team belts any longer than after WrestleMania. After WrestleMania is over, more than likely, Let me see. Because they just announced that Backlash. Child. They just announced that Backlash is happening in May, which is early May. I believe it's on the 6th. And it's going to be in Puerto Rico, which is nuts because I don't recall any pay-per-view ever being in Puerto Rico. And Bad Bunny is going to be hosting it. WWE is in talks with state gambling regulators to legalize betting. Wow. I thought you already could bet on stuff. Like, I'm dead ass. I probably would make some money off of them bets. Like, with the way Triple H be swerving shit sometimes, that'll fuck up a whole bet. Like, I don't know if I can deal with that 100%. But I'd be mad as hell if I bet and I lose and I miss one match. Oh, I'd be pissed. I could have bet last night on Roadblock and I probably would have got some coin off of that. For sure. All right. So, in case you didn't know, now you know. Hold on a second. In case you didn't know, now you know. Bad Bunny will host Backlash on Saturday, May 6th, live from the Castillo de Puerto Rico, Jose Miguel. It's such a long name. I'm not. I thought I was gonna be finished, and it's such a long ass name. It's like, goddamn. Oh God. My people. Like, Jesus, the name is so damn long. It's like, goddamn, like it's. Is it 5 people? Like, what is going on? Oh my God. They're gonna be in San Juan, Puerto Rico. I do not know what to do with that. That is a long ass neck. Do you see that? That is a long name. My people, child. My people. Oh, okay. So May 6th, it's right after Cinco de Mayo. Y'all gonna have tacos and stuff? Y'all gonna have tacos and chimichangas, enchiladas. Or you can do Puerto Rican cuisine since it's gonna be in Puerto Rico. Let's look up some Puerto Rican cuisine. What can we serve for Backlash? What can we serve? That is okay, so that's kind of that leads me to have some wheels turning as well. Puerto Rico food. Puerto Rican food. Okay. 35 Puerto Rican foods that you can try. Because they have their own cuisine, they have their own food. So they have something called pernil. It's the Boricua version of lechon, Latin American style roast pork. Oh, okay. Arroz con gaños. Oh. It's a South Asian pilaf. It's basically rice and beans. Cajun rice and beans. Oh, that's cute. Mofongo. Okay. Asopao de pollo. It's like a soup. It's a chicken and rice type of soup. Arroz con leche. That's rice pudding. It seems. Oh, this one is a coconut pudding. I'm not even going to try to pronounce it because I can't. The Puerto Rican cuisine is more along Kenny's lines because that's something that Kenny knows because she's part Puerto Rican. So I asked her. But they got some pretty decent stuff. I'd probably make some of this shit. Hold on. They got something called Habaritos. That's crazy. They took plantains and made it as a bread in the sandwich. That's crazy. So y'all got a bunch of stuff you can do. And since they're gonna be in Puerto Rico, in honor of them being in Puerto Rico, y'all can make Puerto Rican cuisine. All right. So let's get back to the comments. So Don said, which I don't mind because the tag division is skimpy. It very much is skimpy. So cool. Q asked me a question. He said, well, they said, to be fair, because I don't know your gender, so I'm sorry for misgendering you. They said, how long do you think Becky and Lita will keep the titles for? I don't think they're gonna keep them past Backlash. I think they're gonna drop them. They're gonna drop them probably before that, because I don't think Lita wants to wrestle long term. I'd give it until Backlash. Backlash is right after Mania. It's on the 6th of May. That's a month in between. So yeah, I'd give it till Backlash. And then you have King of the Ring, King and Queen of the Ring, which is, let me pull it up. Did I delete it? Motherfucker, I did. Shit. Okay, so hold on a second. Let me pull the file for King of the Ring. Matter of fact, I'll just go to WWE shit. It's on here, I think. I can't remember the date of when they're gonna have it. I'm gonna get to y'all, the rest of y'all comments in a second. Yep, there it goes. Alrighty, so it's gonna be at the end of the month. So we're gonna have Backlash at the beginning of the month, and then King and Queen of the Ring is gonna be at the end of the month on the 27th of May. So it's still a month in between. 26 days, a little shy of a month for King of the Ring and Backlash, but they're gonna be in the same month. Very similar to last year when we had what was it, like Money in the Bank or some shit like that. It was one of those pay-per-views that was in the same month, and I was just like, Jesus, like, I can't remember. But I know last year we had 2 pay-per-views in the same month, or was it this year? It had to be last year. So Queen of the Ring, King and Queen of the Ring is on the 27th of May, and that's right after Backlash. I don't think they're going to Jeddah as the tag team champions. I think they won't be tag team champions any longer. I think they're going to lose it at Backlash. And if you know WWE, they're probably going to double back and give that shit back to Damage Control, and then have Damage Control drop it to somebody else. But who knows? The last pay-per-view there was in like 2005 or 6. I don't remember it. But then again, I did stop watching WWE in a certain block because I got burned out. So and then some of the things I just didn't like. So I stopped watching it for a little while. So that I may have missed it. I may have missed that one. Yeah. I want to say it was Clash of the Castle or a December to Dismember. That's what it was. It was December to Dismember. I definitely didn't see that. But I remember because I watched it. He said, doubling back with Don on the Don for TC podcast. Shameless plug. It was so shameless. Oh my God. That was shameless as hell. Oh. Okay. Is that the stadium name? Yes. Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let me make sure so I don't get nobody yelling at me or saying nothing ignorant because I swear that's the stadium name. Yes, that is the name. Like, I'm gonna Google it. I'm gonna Google it so I can pull it up. Yes, that is the name. That is the entire name of that indoor arena. That is a long ass name. My people, my people, my people. That is a long ass name. I can't stress that enough. Yes, it's the stadium name. That's the name. That is the actual name. It's only 3 families left. Fuck, hey Kenny. Tiff, what food you making for the WrestleMania? Okay, so I talked to my mom. I didn't talk to my dad. I'm probably gonna make something separate for him. But for us, I'm making fish tacos. And I want to do them, and I want to make fish tacos. I want to have like grilled and fried, and I might do it with like flatbread, fried flatbread instead of doing like tortillas. For my dad, I might give him a traditional taco, or I might give him like a chimichanga with an enchilada sauce on it, just because he prefers a little bit more along the lines of traditional Mexican food, but he really likes enchiladas and refried beans and stuff. So I probably would make that kind of stuff for him specifically. And he has to eat what he has a taste for. So I have to ask him when when it comes close to that Sunday or Saturday, because we're probably going to eat that Saturday and then eat leftovers Sunday. So when it comes close to that Saturday, then I have to ask him what he wants, because he might want something else. That man's palate fluctuates. One minute he wants tacos, the next minute he wants black eyed peas. So I have to ask to make sure so I don't buy something that he won't eat. So I probably make for myself, because I'm trying to wean myself off of ground beef and heavy red meat period, and probably eat that maybe like once or twice a month. I'm probably gonna make grilled fish tacos with like a jicama apple slaw, and then have an avocado crema. I don't like whole avocados or guacamole, but I can deal with their flavor in a crema or inside of a sauce. I don't like it on its own. So that's probably the way that's probably what I would cook. And then I was looking up side dishes, and I'm gonna make some rice. I might make some beans and rice. I might make that beans and rice recipe I just saw, because that looks like it was pretty fire. But I don't know what else I'll make. My brother wanted me to make some birria tacos, but I'm trying to wean myself off beef, and the beef need to be on sale when that happens. So I don't know if I'm gonna do that either. I'm gonna say this, but don't y'all butcher me for not saying it right. Alcapirius? Is that how you say that? I don't have to spell shit out with me. I need I need to sound it out like letter by letter. Oh, okay. I forgot Kayla was Puerto Rican. I could just ask Kayla. But Kenny's always my go-to, because she close. And I've known Kenny longer than I've known Kayla. So I probably would go to Kenny first, just out of instinct. She said, "Ooh, is we making stuff with plátanos? Maybe." For Backlash, probably, yeah. Because they're gonna be in Puerto Rico, and I want to try something. Hello, I'm Puerto Rican too. I'm sorry, shit. I asked you too. I'm sorry. I would recommend to try authentic. What is that? Polones, which are Puerto Rican lollipops. Okay. Girl, what? That pay-per-view was bomb. There was a time frame with wrestling that I just was not watching. And quite frankly, I just stopped watching it after a certain amount of time. So there's a large chunk of wrestling that I missed, that I don't remember, mainly because I wasn't a part of the IWC then. So I didn't. She said pastelillos are good too. Okay. Mi gente Latino. Child. I've been doing my Duolingo. See, it's coming out. I heard Naomi is coming back. Well, if she does, good for her. But I just, at this point, I just want Naomi to be happy. From what I understand, according to Cameron, well, her name is Arian, so let's call her by her real name. Arian spilled the beans and told everybody that the woman went and got her shoulder surgery. So that's one of the reasons why she may not have came back. Quite frankly, as long as Naomi is happy doing what she's doing, I am fine with her decision to stay out of the E for a while. That is her personal business. It's none of mine. Would I love to see her back in the WWE? Of course. I want my dream match. I want to see Naomi and Bianca battle it out. And I want to see the best woman win. Honestly, I would love to see Bianca as the heel at that point, and then Naomi comes back and takes over as a face champion too. But like, I just want to see that. Like, I just want to see those two battle it out. You know what I'm saying? Grain of salt. I mean, it's possible for Naomi to come back. I don't think Triple H would ever shut her out. Plus, I really do believe that Naomi felt like she was hurt, like, by what they did, and she took a stand, and I think that's a fair stance. And Vince is still there now, so, but he would have to understand, because if it was him, he'd do the same thing. Quite frankly, if it was about that, like, Vince tried to bury him, he tried to tear them apart in the media, tried to eviscerate them. Triple H was trying to smooth things over and get past it. You know what I'm saying? And I think that Vince will trust Triple H's judgment. Vince is old. And from what I saw with the pictures of his old ass, life been kicking his ass. You understand me? I don't know what the hell he been doing. I think he stopped taking his steroids, child. But he looked like the Crypt Keeper. I said, oh, shit. What the fuck? What is happening to you? What happened to you? What? It looked like somebody just sucked all the air out your body. Like, sir. She been coming back every month. Okay, KB? Okay. I know you're doing hot takes, but I feel my hot takes are really hot. They're more so my thoughts. They could be considered a hot take, though. So, do with that what you will. Okay? She said, okay, because Duolingo will get you together if you stay consistent with it. It really will. He said, no, for real. Like, I'm telling y'all, he looked like somebody just took a straw and sucked all the air out his ass. And he just standing there. I said, oh, shit. I got to the point where Duolingo was teaching me how to flirt in Spanish, and I was like, why? Girl, if you single, that's a good why. I mean, that's a good thing. You need to know how to talk in all aspects of language. You know what I'm saying? That crustache child. I have a hot take of my own. Oh, God. Here we go. Hold on. We get into the hot takes. Charlotte looks old when she takes the makeup off. I respectfully disagree. I respectfully disagree with that. I don't think she looks old at all. I like Charlotte. I think Charlotte's a beautiful woman. My father has another. He doesn't have the same sentiments when it comes to Charlotte, but me personally, I think she's pretty. And everybody has their look when they take off makeup, their natural self. You're gonna have dark circles, saggy eyes. It is what it is. But I think Charlotte looks fine either way. So I don't know if I agree with that. Not how old do you look when you take off yours? I honestly don't look that drastically different when I take off my makeup, which I'm kind of happy about. I'm very happy about. Now that's just a sip of haterade we didn't need. Kenny is messy, child. But anyways, it's time to get into some of these hot takes. Now, yesterday I gave y'all the rules. You can't be judged on your hot take, but you do have to be able to take the response that people will give. Now, everybody not gonna be nice, so you're gonna have thick skin with these hot takes, okay? Because it is what it is, babes. All right. Now, I will put the link in the box. Y'all can come in and give your hot take yourself. Or if you rather stay in the comments and have your comment posted and we talk about it that way, that's fine. I will post the hot take. So I will give y'all 30 seconds to post your hot takes in the comment box or come into the live and tell it yourself. It's totally up to you. So first, let me get the link posted. Now, for y'all that may disagree with some of the hot takes, it's a hot take. It's gonna be controversial in some aspects, and you're not gonna agree. Sometimes it's not negativity, it's just people's opinion. You can accept it or not, it's totally up to you, but it is their opinion. Now, you can disagree, just like I disagree with Michelle about Charlotte looking old. I don't think she looks old. I think she looks the way any 30 plus year old woman would look. Quite frankly, she's in impeccable shape for a 30-year-old, for a beyond 30-year-old. And she ain't gonna stay young and virile forever, but for her to be her age, she looks great. That's one of the reasons why makeup and things exist. So I'm gonna go ahead. The link is in the comments right now. I'm gonna give y'all 30 seconds to post y'all hot takes, and then we're gonna get started and talk about some of these hot takes. All right. 30 seconds have gone by. And y'all didn't put nothing in this box. Except for Kenny. All right. So let's get into it. Kenny says Sonya should have been champ before Liv Morgan. Okay. So this is a double-edged sword for me, right? On one hand, I can understand where Kenny coming from. Sonya had a lot of the momentum going into that match with her and Mandy. But I think what derailed Sonya the most is that situation with that stalker. That's what kind of left her hanging in limbo and didn't really give her the opportunity to capitalize off of what she had already built in terms of that really good storyline with Otis, her, and Dolph moving into this new place with her being the villain and Mandy being the face. Okay. So it worked. It would have worked if everything had worked out the way that it should have. Because I don't think that Mandy was going to win that match against Sonya. I honestly believe Sonya was pegged to win that match. Sonya was then going to use that momentum to move forward and continue to keep getting win after win after win. And then she was going to become champion at some point. She probably would have been the one to challenge Bianca because Bianca had got to be champion after that. She probably would have been the one to challenge Bianca over Carmella. Okay, because by then Sonya would have been built up more than Carmella was, and it just would have given Sonya the opportunity to really showcase what she can do. The other side about that is that I don't think her title reign would have meant any more than Liv Morgan's did. I think it would have gave us more than Liv did, because a lot of Liv's wins were controversial with Ronda Rousey, except for the one she got with Shayna. She beat Shayna clean, and there was no arguing with that. It is what it is. But I feel like Sonya, because of her heel work and the way that she operates, she would have browbeat us to death. But I do think that it would have, I guess it would have worked out in her favor, because I feel like she would have been kind of like Miz a little bit. Like, she would have made you hate her, which you already do. Like, she would have made you hate her, but when she gets in the ring, she would have performed effectively. I think that all would have worked with her being GM and her, structuring stuff around herself. Like, all of that was worth it, right? Because it just made you look to somebody else to hate, instead of just hating on the wrestler. Like, you're like, this GM is getting on my nerves. They're part of the reason why. You know what I'm saying? So, like, in that side of things, I liked it. When you look back on it, you're like, yes, this is what we've been begging for, was a GM that we can really throw all our emotions in. Adam give you that sometimes, but not all the time. But Sonya gave you that vibe all the fucking time. Like, you hated her. But I don't know. I'm curious as to how that would work out. I would, you know what? To take it a step further for Kenny, I would not mind Sonya winning Money in the Bank this year. I really wouldn't, because I feel like she would probably utilize it the best. And even though her cash in would probably be on Bianca. It probably would be on Bianca. I would hate that to no end, but you know what, Kitty? You might be onto something here. You might have been onto something. But it just, that whole stalker shit just derailed everything for her. It just derailed everything for her. And I think that she had a one-way ticket to the top before that stalker shit came about. I really do. Okay. Roman is better overall as a champion over time than MJF. So I see this comparison a lot, and I feel like it's an unfair comparison. Roman Reigns has pretty much been groomed to go to the top, whereas MJF had to claw and fight to get there. You got two different trajectories here, two different paths to the top of the mountain of each respective company. Also, you have to think about the booking. MJF has not been booked to look good. Roman Reigns has been booked to look good. He has not lost a singles match in almost 3 years. So he has been his shit has been set from the day he became champion all the way until now to book him irresponsibly strong, where he's never lost a match. Tag team wise, he's lost a match. Okay? Lost a match with Sami Zayn. All right? So tag team wise, he has lost matches. But the thing is, Roman has already had his trajectory set for 3 years. MJF has just started his title reign. He got that belt last year, at the end of the year, no less. He's not like a 4 or 5 year champion. He hasn't even cracked 6 months yet. You know what I'm saying? So, like, that's not a fair comparison. I think that as a wrestler, not gonna lie, MJF is not the greatest, but he's pretty solid in wrestling. And on the microphone, I'm sorry, MJF is better on the microphone. He's better promo-wise. He's better character-wise. He's already solid in that arena. No shade to Roman, because Roman is great. Roman is an amazing character. He's been able to curate and carve out his own space in WWE at a time when there are so many copies of others. He's created his own space, and he knows that in 10 years, there's going to be a copy of him somewhere. So that each person has their own respective niche, and I respect that on both sides. But I can't compare their title reigns or give a better overall champion. Number one, because they haven't had tenure in that championship spot for the same amount of time. And number two, their booking is different. The trajectory of their title reigns is completely different. And they just don't match in that realm at all. So I don't compare them. It's like you got a pineapple and you got an orange. You can't compare the two. I don't like using apples to oranges because everybody use it. Like, the drastic difference is the size of this massive ass apple, and then this massive ass pineapple, and then you've got a little baby Tangelo sitting right here. That's MJF, and that's Roman Reigns. Like, it doesn't correlate. You can't compare them. I think the Royal Rumble should be used for building new stars. It's no need for someone like Seth to win it. So in some instances, I agree with that. But I also think that you have to think about WrestleMania in terms of a business. So I get this comment or this type of take all the time. The reality is that's not going to lend towards good booking into WrestleMania. So while somebody like Gunther would have done great, the storyline that Cody, Roman, Sammy, Kevin, and the bloodline as a whole, with all of them as a whole together, is going to be much more marketable than Gunther versus Roman at WrestleMania. It's no shade to Gunther, because Gunther is going to rise to the occasion match-wise. But in that ring, cutting promos, building all the way to WrestleMania, yeah, that's not going to happen. And that's no shade to Gunther, because he can do it. It's just, it wouldn't be as fun to watch. It wouldn't be on the edge of your seat type of shit. Like, it would kind of fall flat for you, and you wouldn't be interested. Also, if you're talking about building stars with Royal Rumble, if that's the case, then people like Otis, Mustafa Ali, which is no shade to Mustafa Ali, but just hear me out. People like Otis, Mustafa Ali, Chad Gable, Karrion Kross, Elias, Rick Boogs, Ricochet, Braun Strowman. Well, Braun Strowman don't need it. Pete Dunne, Ridge Holland. The list goes on. You would pick guys, the way you're talking is like undercard guys would be the guys that you would put in the Rumble and have them win the Rumble. That's not going to lend towards sales for WrestleMania. I'm sorry. It's not always going to be a guy like Seth that's going to win WrestleMania. Usually you can tell by who's going to win the Rumble by how the stories have been booked for that year. Okay? So when you look back at last year, you can very much tell that the person who was going to win the Rumble was already set in stone by how they were building up his return. You can see that from the moment that he left to go have his shoulder surgery. It was obvious that he was going to be the one to win the Royal Rumble. Right? So all I'm saying is sometimes what sounds like a good idea is not always going to be a good idea when it is executed, because you have to think of who's going to buy the tickets to see this, how they're going to build this story up. Because if you think about it, a guy like Chad Gable winning the Royal Rumble sounds great on paper, looks great on paper rather. But when you really look at it and think about it, like, okay, Chad Gable's going to be shushing Roman Reigns for a whole month before we get to Mania. We already know how this is going to end. That's not going to sell tickets. That's not going to sell tickets. You know what I'm saying? So King says, yeah, that stalker situation really fucked her, and I hate that for her. She could have been a good heel champ. I 100% agree. I agree. If she was able to be in that GM position and wrestle at the same time, she would have been a menace. Well, she was. And then they kind of, knocked her out the box a little bit. Which at that time she needed to be knocked out because she was doing a bit too much. I would have turned Liv crazy after feuding with Shotzi if they went my way. You know what? That's not bad. That is not bad, not at all. I wouldn't have minded that. But I would have kept Liv with Tegan. I thought Tegan and Liv worked well together as a team, and I would have kept her with her, and that could have helped fill out the tag team division for now. I really think WWE should invest in doing a Mae Young Classic for tag teams exclusively, and they need to get those girls in. Some of them can go to NXT, the other ones can come to the main roster. The ones that are ready and prepared and ready to roll, I would send them to the main roster. Like, they got to get those tag team divisions filled out. They got to, because right now they have teams and they're breaking them up and they're not letting them. And I'm pretty sure the girls wanted to go their separate ways and do their own thing. But at the same time, like, they got to start doing some things. I don't know what Triple H bald-headed ass doing in the back, but he got to start getting some shit together, because that men's tag team division is abysmal. Trash. The women's tag team division is abysmal. Trash. It needs to be built back up. You only need a few teams. You only need maybe 2 or 3 teams on each show, and add another 2, add another 3 or 4 to NXT, and don't use people who you made up. If you're going to make up teams, make them up before you get them inside NXT. So we see them as a tag team. They move as a tag team, similar to what Dawkins and Montez were doing. Like, Dawkins and Montez got made up as a tag team, but they didn't come in as a tag team. You feel me? They was put together in the PC in the back, a part of Evolve. They moved through Evolve, went to NXT, and now they're on the main roster, and they're basically one of the best tag teams and one of the only tag teams outside of New Day and the Usos who've been able to survive that tag team destruction year. You know what I'm saying? So they got to do something. They got to build that division back up. Hey, Tay. How you doing? They had a chance to put Liv with Alexa Bliss. Would have been good. You know what? Bliss ain't doing nothing. I'd have put her with her. She can go with somebody else. She can go back with Nikki Cross, if you ask me. Or, if they want to do something really outside the box, put Bliss with Candice. They not using her. I don't know when they're going to introduce her, but it looked like after Uncle Howdy, went and did shit, maybe they're going to introduce her back on SmackDown with Bray Wyatt, because Bray Wyatt said they really did her a disservice and he wants to redeem her. When they really give Bray Wyatt the carte blanche to do what he wants to do with people who are actually going to respond to what he's doing, because Bobby Lashley ain't going to give him what he needs. He's just not the one. When they really do, Bray Wyatt going to shine. He going to show up and show out. Naomi should have been the one to dethrone AJ or Nikki, and shouldn't have dropped the SD to Natty. Ooh, okay. Well, we going to Naomi. Hold that thought. I'm going to start at, and then I'm going to go to Don in them comments. Okay. So he said he been waiting on Sonya since 2021. You can't fairly judge that MJF just started being a champ. That's what I was saying. He said this more so on the business side. This whole idea of Dusty can't be replaceable needs to die. I'm going to get to your comment in a minute. So let's go back to Donna hitting out the block, honey. Let's go back to Naomi. Hold on, let me get something to drink. Got me a little cranberry ocean spray. I'm gonna drink some water after this. I need to drink some water. Oh my God. That is so good. If I ever get a P.O. box and y'all ever send me anything, just send me ocean sprays. I don't want nothing else. Anyways, Naomi should have been the one to dethrone AJ or Nikki, and shouldn't have dropped the SD title to Natty. So let's unpack this piece by piece. Do I agree that Naomi should have dethroned AJ Lee 100%. 100%. I feel like that would have been a new way to usher in Naomi as a heel. Because I believe Naomi turned heel during Nikki's title reign. Right? Right? It was Nikki's title reign. Y'all will correct me in the comments. I would have let her turn heel earlier than that. And then she would have ran as champion for a year. And then she would have dropped the title to Charlotte. I think that at the time, and just putting my bias aside with Nikki Bella, honestly, I was okay with the way that they booked Charlotte when she came in and gave that title to her, because it was time. Like, we had seen Nikki Bella running around with the title for over a year, and it was just time for her to go do whatever she wanted to do. And it was just like with Mandy, like it was just over and over and over. It was just regurgitated, and I was just irritated. I'm like, girl, please go sit down somewhere. So on that front, I think it should have happened with AJ Lee and not with Nikki Bella. Quite frankly, they could have had AJ. They could have had they could have had Naomi kill AJ Lee's title reign, and then you could have went with Nikki Bella after that and had her oust Naomi's title reign. That way you could have knocked AJ Lee down a couple slots with the long title reigns. As far as her not dropping it to Natalya, I also agree with that, because I felt like Naomi didn't really have a fair shot at being champion for a length of time. And then her championship booking on SmackDown was some bullshit. Bianca's championship booking was much, much stronger than Naomi's was. But if it hadn't been for Naomi, I'm going to be honest, I don't think Bianca would have the lane that she has if it wasn't for Naomi. And then before her, you had people like Jacqueline, Jazz, and the list goes on. So, like, each Black woman that have come before them have made a space for them to be who they are. The girls who came before Naomi were heels as champion, whereas Naomi was a face champion, and they didn't really believe in what she could do. It seems like they didn't give her the lane to really do what she could do and be that girl, but they did give that to Bianca. They did, and that's what I was happy about. That's what really made things great, and I'm sure Naomi is ecstatic for Bianca. You know what I'm saying? I agree with this, but in parts, because I feel like Naomi could have been champion well before AJ Lee or Nikki ever even touched the belt, if we're being honest. I would have given that championship to Naomi before them. I would have given it to him right after Alicia Fox was champion, to be honest. She would have been the next Black Divas champion. But Alicia Fox is the only Black woman to hold that title ever, which is still bonkers to me. Okay? But I'm going to get to Don's comment in a second. We're going to have to double back to his, because that's a take. That's a hot take. Okay, Kenny's leaving for work. So we're going to go back to Donnie's comment in a minute. It wasn't really my hot take. It was someone else's that I saw that I was a little interested in. Okay. That's like saying Miz does a better job than Grayson. They both do the same thing. But Grayson Waller haven't been there long enough to have the tenure to be able to say that. So I get where Don is coming from. Hey, young boy Jay. So if Rhea do win, who should be her first opponent? I'll get to that in a second. I wouldn't be mad with Living Bliss. Me either. I wouldn't be mad at that. Yeah, AJ could have dropped to anybody. Facts. It was unfair that she came in, did little to no work, and ran with her being champ because of the inflation the male fans had. They had her with fucking Lana and a short stint with Char. Yeah, babe. Like, I mean, I understand the frustration with Naomi because Naomi deserved better than what she got. But Naomi was the type of girl that was extremely humble. She still is. But now, given her tenure being in the WWE, she's a champion. She's been tag team champion. Um, she has been SmackDown Women's Champion. The only belt on the roster that has eluded her is the Raw Women's Championship. And if I was her, I want my accolades. I go back and get my shit. As far as I'm concerned with Naomi, I think that she has proven that she can survive on her own without the E. She's still a commodity. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm always gonna pop for sis. Always. You never hear nothing bad about that woman anywhere. She is highly supportive of her friends and family, and she encourages people to do great. Like, even like Baron Corbin, character wise, he gets on my nerves, but as a man, he's a pretty chill dude, and he always spoke highly of her. Dolph Ziggler popped for Naomi every fucking time. Every time they talk about that woman, they ask him, who is the most underrated wrestler in the world right now? Dolph Ziggler always say Naomi. Every single time. He like, in wrestling, in character development, in every aspect, in every way, that woman is underrated and she deserves so much more than what she's been getting. He says that every single time he has no restraints. Nobody's pulling on him and telling him to say it. He does it on his own every single time. It's nothing but facts. It's nothing but facts. You feel me? That's the truth. So let me go back to Donnie's comment so I can assess this. Donnie said, this is more so on the business side. This whole idea of Dusty can't be replaced needs to die. He said his career, no, you can't replace his career, right? But his job for character development, hell yes. Now, Don and Nicole have been saying this for a while. I 100% agree. Now, what Shawn Michaels is doing in NXT is basically taking all of his old tropes that he did back in the day and giving them to various superstars. The kicking of the face on the talk show with Bayley. That was something he did with Marty Jannetty into the Rockers and kicking off his personal singles career. The passing out after a match. That was something he did after, I believe it was a Royal Rumble that he won. He ended up passing out from exhaustion in that match. And that's exactly what Roxanne did today. Okay, so you're seeing a lot of tropes pop up from his career in the past. It's popping up on TV right now in the newest generation of wrestlers. And while I appreciate the callbacks, what I want is some individuality, some creativity, and something of their own. You had to create your own lane. You need to encourage these guys to do theirs. And Dusty was somebody that's irreplaceable in terms of who he is as a person, not as someone who does great character development. If I was WWE, I would go and hire somebody who works in theater, film, and television that works on developing characters, that works in tandem with the writers to help them develop characters. I would talk to other superstars. If I was a WWE superstar, I would be in there like Sasha did. Sasha took, and I never forget this because I thought that it was a pertinent piece that most people forget about how Sasha curated her character, Sasha Banks, or rather how Mercedes did it. So you have certain traits from certain people that you love. So let's say it's Nicki Minaj and it's her style you take. All right, so you write down her style and you say, this is my character at the top of the page. And then you take that and you write down each one. You number it from 1 to 10. Okay, Nicki Minaj's style and her bravado. That's what I like about her. Those are the two things I'm going to take from her. Okay, so what's the other one? All right, promo-wise, I was a big Eddie Guerrero fan. So I like Eddie Guerrero's quips. I like his tenacity. I like his ability to spit back. You know, I like his confidence. You write all that shit down, right? Then you go, okay, I got some of Nicki Minaj's style, but I want to incorporate something else. Let's take a designer. Let's go Alexander McQueen. Okay, so that's my character right there. Now, if I have the bravado of Nicki Minaj, but the sly quip of Eddie Guerrero, that's the definition of a heel right there. Okay, that is definitely somebody who is hated, right? So you need to flip that page over and then do a face character with traits that people can identify with, or something that you identify with in a hero-esque character. Okay, that's that's how I would do it. That's how my mind would operate in terms of setting up my character. And then I would take improv classes, and then I would take acting classes, and I would take acting classes that focuses on specific characters. Like I would take an acting class that focuses on creating villains. I would take an acting class that focuses on creating heroes. I would take acting classes that would focus on creating complex characters, so that you can. Have you ever watched a movie and you saw a movie where a character is evil, but you can identify with them? You understand why they're doing what they're doing. You understand? So a perfect example of that would be, oh shit, what is that movie? I just watched it. Okay, so think about Wakanda. I mean, think about Black Panther and Wakanda Forever. The very first Black Panther, Killmonger was the main villain. You had I can't think of the white dude's name. Was it Claw or some shit like that? Killmonger was the main character though. And you could identify with what Killmonger was saying. It was like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. You had a radical version of someone trying to get shit done, and you had a more, I guess you could say, a more calm, within the constraints of the system type of character. And that's what T'Challa represented, and that's what Killmonger represented. And the writers had said that Killmonger and T'Challa were both based off of Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. So you can kind of understand the contrast of the characters. In my opinion, that's how I would do. Like when you watch Wakanda Forever, Namor is a character that you can identify with. Despite what he's doing, you know that it is wrong, but he is doing it to protect his people, because he knows they will ravage his land, kill his people without a hesitation. So he has to be just as ruthless in order to protect them. So like, that's the reason why I say your character needs to be more well-rounded. It needs to be someone you can identify with, but they also do nefarious and dastardly things. You feel me? So in terms of what Don is saying, to bring it back to the point, what Don is saying is you can't just rely on what Dusty did, because Dusty is no longer here to do the job. Now you've got to do your due diligence to find the person who can do what is necessary, but they're not going to be Dusty. Nobody's going to be able to replace Dusty, but you can find somebody who can help you with character development, because it's very clear that Shawn Michaels is not good in that department. He's not good in it. He never has been. Roman and MJF is one of those two different lanes kind of thing. Correct. Okay, I'm pulling up y'all comments because I've been talking, child. It wasn't really my hot take. Okay, I got it. Got that. All right. So if Rhea does win, who should be her first opponent? I don't know, but I would give her somebody solid. I think Sonya will be a good opponent for her to have if that's what you want to do. You can have Bliss be her first opponent, especially if they shake things up. I think Don mentioned it in the comments later. It really depends on the shakeup. It depends on the draft and where people land. Because if Piper goes over to SmackDown, I put Piper up there and give her a good one or two, like at least a month feud with Rhea. Let her fight it out with her. You know what I'm saying? Give her a pay-per-view or two with Rhea. Let Rhea's title reign be just as lengthy in terms of feuds as Bianca's was. Don't make it too long, but make it long enough so that it get right at the point where it's just like, okay, girl, y'all doing too much. You feel me? I would pick Piper or Bliss, one of them, because you want to set Rhea up for success. You don't want her to just be bulldozing through talent. You want her to have a good title reign. It was unfair that she came in, did little to no work, and oh yeah, I read this already. All right. Am I the only one who hopes Rhea drops the SD title and if she wins it to Bianca? No, but I don't want Bianca to win the title from Rhea. Hi, mommy. I don't want her to win the title from Rhea because that would be overexposure for Bianca. Unless they turn Bianca heel and Bianca goes to SmackDown as a heel and takes that title off of Rhea, then I wouldn't have an issue with it. But if they don't do that and Bianca goes to SmackDown as a face and they have her take the title off of Rhea, there's going to be a problem. And you know what? It's going to turn into a blowback. Bianca is going to end up being a residual heel because of that. You feel me? He always says something ignorant. Anyways, you have to take something from at least 5. Like you gotta really create something out of a lot. Like you, especially if you're making a villain character, like really look at some of the most nefarious villains you've ever seen and just take some of their traits that you identify with, because it needs to be something identifiable so that when you create this character, that character works in tandem with you. So you're not trying to pretend to be something. You are this person, but it is a piece of you. It's not all of you. That makes sense. If that makes sense, it'll make it easier for you to act it out. Facts, Don. I got my 5. Wanda is a very good example of somebody who you can resonate with and understand why she's the way she is, but she's also done some of the most nefarious things to people, and it's all been out of grief and heartache, which you can understand. You can relate to that. She's a very good example. Megamind Megamind is a good one. I ain't gonna lie. Like Megamind, I hated the way Megamind got treated. I really did. They did Megamind so fucking dirty. I have my 5. Don, who's your 5? So far, in my opinion, Mello and Trick would have been doing Mello and Trick have been doing a good job with their characters. I agree, but the test is going to be on the main roster. You see, it's real easy for you to stand out in NXT the way that Carmelo has, because there's nobody like him. There's nobody that compares to Carmelo on the in NXT. But on the main roster, there's a lot of people who can do what Carmelo Hayes is doing. So he's not an anomaly, but he definitely is going to stand out. Now, I'm not saying Carmelo and Trick ain't going to last, because I think Trick Williams is funny. I think that his character-wise, he's funny. He's got a cool way of delivering everything. His wrestling is okay. It's improved, because he was terrible in the beginning. But he's gotten better as time has progressed. However, in my opinion, if they go to the main roster doing what they're doing right now, it may go over and it may not, because a lot of people don't always resonate with everything that you do, especially when you are unapologetically black. You feel me? So while I believe that Carmelo and Trick are set in what they're doing, on the main roster, guys like Carmelo don't always have the greatest tenure in the WWE. I mean, for fuck's sake, look at Ricochet, look at Mustafa Ali. They're not exactly in the best positions, but they're better than where they were. Now, given the fact that Carmelo Hayes has some personality, and Mustafa does too, but he doesn't get the same leeway that Carmelo would get on the roster. You feel me? So we'll have to wait and see how it plays out on the main roster, because Carmelo could wash out on the main roster. Despite what he's good at, despite how good his character is, he could very well wash out. And it won't even be entirely his fault. You know what I'm saying? Liv would be good given the chemistry. People hate on Bianca because she is the face, and Bianca face run is not as bad as people are saying. I mean, Bianca gets a lot of hate, true enough. I don't know who's saying Bianca's face run is bad. Quite frankly, Bianca has wrestled some of the top female wrestlers in the company and has beaten all of them. The only one that has eluded her has been Charlotte Flair. And Rhea. Like, she hasn't gone up against Rhea, but I understand why. I wouldn't have put her up against Rhea Ripley either, especially since she's almost a year out from being a champion for a year. I would have her beat Asuka at WrestleMania, let her keep her championship until Backlash, and then she would drop it. That's how I would do it. Then she could compete in Money in the Bank. She doesn't have to win. She could just compete to help sell the pay-per-view. And then we'll see what else you can do with Bianca after that. You know what I'm saying? That's how I would do it. But no, her title reign is not as bad as people are saying. I think Bianca is a solid champion, and I think that they've booked her really strong in terms of her championship, but they booked her with Bayley just a little bit too long, and they booked her with Becky just a little bit too long. I think that's the only problem I had with her title reigns, was the length of her battles with certain people. But I think later, when you go back and you watch it, you'll be able to appreciate it. Because when you're in it and you're watching it, you really just want some satisfaction. And when you don't get that, you become complacent. You get a little angry, you get a little anxious, you know? But I think later on down the line, people will be able to appreciate it. Piper, Liv, Sonya, Shayna, Bliss, drop it to Roxanne. I don't like that. I don't think she should drop it to Roxanne. I don't think she should drop it to Roxanne. I honestly think she should drop it to Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler is the one who dropped her title to Rhea back in NXT. The last person Rhea Ripley should go up against is Shayna Baszler. And Shayna Baszler should become champion off of Rhea Ripley, since Rhea Ripley became champion off of Shayna Baszler. That's just my opinion. I would make it come full circle for her ass too. Because if y'all are able to do it now with Gargano and Grayson Waller, you should be able to do it with Rhea Ripley and Shayna Baszler too. That's just how I feel about it. Roxanne, I wouldn't drop it to Roxanne. Roxanne got to get on the roster and get her feet wet first. We can't be mad about them doing it for Bliss and Charlotte and then want to make an exception for Bianca. What you mean? What you mean, Donnie? Because I'm confused. What did I miss? I missed something. Rhea should drop, hold on a second, her title to Asuka, Chelsea, or Piper if they are draftees. No, I don't think she should drop it either. I think Rhea should be champion for a little minute. I really do. I don't think she should drop it to Chelsea, though. Maybe. If they're talking about making new champions and doing something different, Chelsea, yeah, we would have to listen to Chelsea. Fuck. That's okay. I would have a good time hating on her. Okay? Charlotte has already tied Ric Flair's record, but for one, I don't know why WWE doesn't count them and why WWE doesn't give her reign substance anymore. Well, first of all, Charlotte Flair has not beaten Ric Flair's record. Let's just call a spade a spade. They're not going to count a title that is defunct. That title no longer exists, right? So they're not going to count that. Also, they're not going to count the NXT title because that title is a developmental championship in NXT. Okay? So they're not going to count that as a part of one of her beating Ric Flair's title reigns. Ric Flair was not a champion of a company that is no longer in existence. NWA still exists. He was champion there. They still exist. So and he was champion for WWE. He's a 16-time champion. So they're gonna leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? So as far as I'm concerned, they doing it the way they want to. That's how it works. Charlotte Flair is still overall one of the most decorated people in the company, period. And quite frankly, if she reaches, which I undoubtedly she will reach that pinnacle of 16 times. Now, everybody says her championships don't hold no substance. Well, neither did her father's. How do you think he became a 16-time champion? He had to fucking drop the titles in order to do that. There is no way for Charlotte to be champion for a whole year, turn around, drop the championship, go to Raw and be champion again for another year, and actually be 16-time champion. And in the time frame of her lifetime of wrestling, it would take her forever to do it. So there has to be a strategy to get her to that 16th title. There has to be a strategy for that. So she can't have lengthy title reigns to where she's champion for over a year or 3, because it doesn't make sense for her. And I don't understand what you mean by they don't give her reign substance anymore. So what kind of substance are you looking for? Are you mad because you don't feel like her feuds are worth anything? Like, I don't understand what you mean by substance. You're going to have to be a little bit more descriptive. Okay, her title to Asuka, Chelsea, or Piper if they are draftees. The time frame for this drop for her to take this title to Chelsea or Piper is when? Because Charlotte is still the overall package. Charlotte has substance with or without lengthy title reigns. Very true. It's not that Melo couldn't get over, and I don't think he would have a problem with that. But at the same time, like, they have to give him the lane to do it. And if they keep him in the back the way they do Ricochet and the way they do Mustafa, he's not going to get over as well as you think he will. They're going to stifle him. Mustafa didn't get the platform. No, I disagree. Mustafa most definitely could have had the platform had they gave him the lane to do what he wanted to do, but they chose not to. The booking for Mustafa was really bad. It still is bad. And when he was Cruiserweight champion, he was hyped. Like, everybody was on Mustafa shit when he was champ. The match they had at WrestleMania that year when Mustafa was champion and he dropped it, I think he fought Cedric. Cedric beat him, and then he got the title after that. That was iconic. And then he dropped it to Buddy Murphy, I think, at Super Showdown in Australia. So, like, my point when it came to Carmelo is there are similar height, weight, speed, and talent in the ring. They all differ in characters. Carmelo's character is decent enough, but, like, he's not bad on the microphone. He's not horrible at all. My thing is Carmelo, he okay. He's a nice looking dude who got some quips on the mic. But how can I explain it? So I don't think he would falter per se, but like I said, WWE would have to push him forward. And I know that we think that they would, but given their track record of some superstars that we expected to do exceptionally well and didn't because of piss poor booking, Mustafa being one of them. And he has a good creative mind. Like, that political shit he was doing online, that shit knocked. If they had to let him go ahead with that, that could have just blew the doors off of Mustafa. Like, that could have worked for him. Like, legitimately worked. Chelsea would be good for Queen of the Ring. If they give the Queen of the Ring to Chelsea, to me it'll always be a joke type of thing. And I want them to use Queen of the Ring and King of the Ring as a stepping stone for people. Zelina had it last time and she didn't do shit with it, or they didn't let her do nothing with it. And then like Corbin had it and Corbin turned it into a whole fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? It turned it into a whole fucking thing. Had him some minions at one point. Like Corbin made that shit into something. No, I feel like this time somebody of substance needs to win Queen of the Ring, and it's no shade to Chelsea, but Chelsea winning Queen of the Ring, to me, it's not going to do Queen of the Ring any justice. And you want somebody, at least somebody who you know is damn good in the ring. And I don't want this to be taken the wrong way, because I'm not shitting on Chelsea. I'm not. I recognize that the woman has done all that she could and really has improved herself on the mic wise, and she's always been great character wise, and in the ring she has improved. I recognize that, but we're talking about having the second Queen of the Ring. You gave it to Vega the first time, which to me I thought was a mistake. This time, give it to somebody who I think could really use the boost, but actually use Queen of the Ring as a booking tool for the women. Like they gave it to Zelina, but didn't do nothing with her. Do something with it. Do something with it. And Chelsea's not the one. She's just not the one, in my opinion. Them scrapping and not using 205 Live for real kind of messed him up. Mustafa had already came up off of 205 Live, right? And Mustafa Ali, in my opinion, got messed over by the E itself. They were not prepared to use him the way they could have. And after he got injured, because he was ready to go and was the guy that Daniel was going to give that title to before Kofi Mania was even started. So Mustafa's derailment didn't start after 205 Live got scrapped. Mustafa's derailment started before that. It started around the time that he was already on the main roster and slated to be the next champion. However minor it was supposed to be, we don't know how it would have turned out for him. But that's where his downfall came. Like, they're scared to pull the trigger on Mustafa for whatever reason. I don't know why. I wouldn't give it to Chelsea. She just got there. I give it to Asuka for Queen of the Ring. I wouldn't mind Asuka, but I mean, if Asuka's a heel, yeah, because I feel like if King of the Ring is going to be a heel, then Queen of the Ring should be a heel too. Roxanne. Yeah, they said Roxanne. Drop to whom? Child, they said Roxanne. Shayna been overdue for a title. I agree. Ooh, I forgot about that. I'm getting y'all comments late, just so you know. Y'all funny thinking Chelsea will get that title. I see what he's saying with that. Unless she win Money in the Bank, I don't see it. That's a way for her to get it. I mean, through Money in the Bank, which, I mean, that was the way Liv got it. So I wouldn't mind it if that way. But I'm just saying, like, she just got there. And y'all are already bypassing other women who are there to get the championship. And she's the one, like, okay, whatever. That's another hot take. Y'all want to give new people whole opportunities. I mean, yes, that's true. Do you think WWE... Hold on a second. Hold tight. Do you think WWE broke up Toxic Attraction too soon? Because seeing them as individual stars don't sit right for me. A lot of people think that they broke them up too soon. Don thinks they brought them up too soon. And he says, I hate that Sean broke them up. I said on the podcast, someone needs to check in with Sean because he doing what he do and not giving a fuck about the future. In my opinion, I don't think they broke them up too soon. And I'm going to tell you why. Oftentimes what happens is people get put together to be in the tag team. They get in a tag team. They're very comfortable in that tag team. And then when it comes time for them to break up, they flounder. The best way, in my opinion, to utilize the developmental is to utilize it. Jacy Jayne and Gigi Dolan do have to develop as individuals at some point. And I'd rather you do it in NXT than to get your ass on the main roster. And after 2 or 3 years, they split you up and you end up like Peyton and Billy. Okay? So that's my take on that. Do I think they split them up too soon? No. No, I don't. I think they need to because they need to see which one of them can stand out on their own and which one of them can't. And I think that's exactly why they put them up, because they already had the situation with Peyton and Billy, and it happened right in front of us. We all saw it. Peyton sucked. And I told y'all that woman was going to be terrible. And nobody listened to me. And then Billy was the one who went and outshined in character. Okay? So instead of waiting until you get to the main roster and then exposing your weakness, it's going to be right there in developmental where it needs to be corrected. Right there. You might not see it for them individually right now. If we're being honest, outside of kayfabe and my personal bias of their personas and characters, right? Listen, Jacy Jayne is an excellent heel. Okay, I will never take that away from the little girl. She's an excellent heel. Okay, but she does need work. Okay, so being in NXT as an individual, she will get that work that she needs. Now, when she gets to the main roster, it won't be such a shock. It won't be such a shock to the system to be out there by yourself on your own, because that's what happened to Peyton. And she wasn't even in front of a real crowd. I can just about imagine what would have went down if COVID-19 never hit and 2020 was a normal year and they sent Peyton's ass out there and she did what she did during the pandemic. WWE, child, they'd have ate her ass alive. Are you kidding me? And the only reason why Billy didn't get her just due was because they didn't have the crowd there to react to her doing what she was doing. But they could have looked on social media to see people responding to Billy. Okay? Every time that girl came out there, it was love for her. You feel what I'm saying? So, like, while I understand people's frustration of Toxic Attraction, I definitely get it. I get it 100%. They have to be developed as individuals. They have to have their own space. Even as a tag team, they need to be their own people. They need to. And JC and Gigi were in NXT by themselves as individuals, but not for a very long time. They've been a tag team for quite some time. So now they're in there. They're working on their second year in NXT. They're working on the second or third. So being in NXT as individuals is going to extend their time in the in NXT a little bit longer, but it's also going to help them to hone in on their characters and develop their craft. Okay, definitely going to do that. All right, but that's the reason why they've been split up. At least that's how I rationalize it in my mind, because I promise you, if they send them to the first. If they send their asses to the main roster and we get what we get in terms of that match in NXT yesterday, no. Just no. Absolutely not. Carmella will do well as Queen of the Ring, too. I don't want her ass to win it either. You already had somebody like them win it the first fucking time. In my opinion, like I said, it needs to be somebody who's stronger in the ring to win Queen of the Ring this time. Do I think that anybody can win Queen of the Ring? Sure. But in order to give Queen of the Ring some legitimacy, you got to put it on somebody who has some wrestling prowess outside of the super kick. I'm not shitting on Carmella. Y'all know I've given Carmella her props. I'm just saying, you got to do something. You got to do something. That was so 2020 ago. Tim, you got your flowers, Tim. I don't care. I don't care. Y'all be throwing it up in my face when y'all be right. Bitch, you gonna have to accept it. JC does need to be home because she is pretty good. That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. They need to be sculpted. They need to be rounded out. And you've got to do that. You've got to do that. I sent you a reaction in the chat. Child. He always being messy. Okay. You did. Ain't gonna lie. A text message from the hubs. I had to check my phone. I think it's the third year. Okay, so it's their third year. Bayley says she'd like to expand Damage Control. Now, what do you think about that? I don't like it. I have never been a fan of Damage Control, and I never will be. It's not that Bayley can't be great as a leader of Damage Control, but it just, to me, Damage Control has, the ship for Damage Control has sailed. Unless they decide to allow somebody else like Io to go after the title within Damage Control, right? And or they move Damage Control to SmackDown and have Bayley face off with Rhea on SmackDown. That'll give her a little bit more legs. But by SummerSlam of this year, Damage Control needs to go. They need to go. And my biggest problem with Damage Control is because the dynamic, like Don said, his last comment, which I'm going to put up in a second, the dynamic of the group is made up of strong individuals who are not able to gel well with each other. Io stands out like a sore thumb, but not for anything bad. She stands out for good reasons. If I were Hunter, I would have split them up. I'd have split them up before WrestleMania. I know they wanted to have a good match at Mania, but they could have had Becky and Lita defending the titles at Mania. You know, seeing as how they're going to be coming up on a Merc and haven't defended the titles. You know what I'm saying? That's just me. Oh, God. Woo. If it makes it implode, I actually wouldn't mind. That's how the crowd would have been if the pandemic didn't hit. The dynamic doesn't work because everyone is established in their own right. I agree. Very seldomly does a wrestler have a good character and good in-ring skills. Some just have either one or the other. That's not that's not a bad take. That's true. But either way, you book them to their strengths. If I'm going to do, and me personally, I like to go back and forth. So like if I'm doing Queen of the Ring, right? And the Queen of the Ring is set up and they're like, okay, last year's Zelina Vega won. It didn't really hit the way we wanted it to hit, so who we gonna pick? In my opinion, I want to pick a strong heel to win Queen of the Ring. If Bianca is heel and no longer champion around the time of Queen of the Ring, I would make her Queen of the Ring. Do you know why? Because she's going to utilize it and bolster it more than somebody like Dana Brooke or Nikki Cross or Carmella. And it's no shade to Carmella, but like Bianca just has it. Bianca just has it. And while Carmella's great at what she does, she doesn't have Bianca's skill or her prowess. She just does it. And that's just the facts. Okay, and the only thing Chelsea's gonna do is just talk about it a lot. You're not gonna get a 5-star match out of her against somebody like Asuka. And I'm not saying that she can't perform. I'm saying that when you have somebody like a Bianca, like a Asuka, and they're in a position of Queen of the Ring, that's gonna bolster it. It's the second year of Queen of the Ring. The first year you kind of just threw them a bone. This year you need to make it worthwhile. And don't act like it's just some piece of shit that, you just created so the women can stop complaining. Is it true that not everybody's going, yeah, I had to go on early. Hi, Alexis. Is it true that not everybody's going to be amazing in the ring or amazing on the microphone? Yes, that is 100% true. But that doesn't mean that you can't do your very best. Oftentimes what we see is lazy phoning in. And that part of the problem is why I feel like if you're going to do that, then your ass needs to have a manager. Managers are few and far between. The only managers we have in the E right now are Robert Stone, Zelina Vega on occasion, which Santos does not need her. And I have said that so many times I can't even express it. Like, Santos Escobar does not need Zelina Vega. He does not need her. She either needs to be on her own wrestling or she needs to be put with somebody that actually needs her talking skill. Furthermore, the only other person that you have is Zelina Vega as a manager, Robert Stone, and you have Maxine, who does exceptionally well in her ballet skills. That's a lost art that needs to be brought back that I know for a fact Alexis has talked about on the podcast, and also Nicole has talked about extensively on the podcast. I distinctly remember Don bringing it up multiple times on the show here, and I've heard Rico mention it multiple times here as well. So like, it's a lost art. And I feel like oftentimes they forget about the fact that even though a person doesn't have the skill to cut a promo, maybe they're still learning it. Maybe they're still trying to get themselves together. Oh, MVP is another one. So I apologize. You could get these and Paul Heyman. You can get these kind of people and get them in position to help bolster them. That's how you do it. But for somebody who's limited in certain areas, you play to their strength. You play to their strengths. Okay, they're going to falter somewhere. They're not perfect. They're not perfect. That's why development is in place. Exactly. So, you know what? You know what I would do? Let's take Mustafa Ali, for example. Mustafa is funny as hell right now. Fucking with Dolph. I just find it to be hilarious. But after he's done with this, I send him back down to NXT. Send him back down to NXT. while Carmelo is champion. Because I don't think they're going to keep Carmelo down there longer than a year. Get that title off for Carmelo. Be champion for like a month or two. Be champion for like a month or two. Kind of do a small stint like what New Day did. And drop that title to somebody down there who needed it. Or something like that. And then come back up to the main roster. Hoping that they split the belts by then. And see what you can do. Because I really think that they could use a break on the roster sometimes. And it could just work in their favor. If they were to switch out, bring some of them superstars down there and really elevate NXT. They did it with Mandy. That helped strengthen Mandy's career before she fucked it up. They did it with Apollo. It worked with Apollo a little bit. It gave Braun a big boost to beat Dolph. It was a big thing. So it can work. It just needs to be done properly. So that you can use some folks on the middle ground. And Zelina needs to use them. I 100% agree. Alexis said, hot take, if you slack or coach, you should be sent home without pay till you're ready to improve. Ooh. Alexis talking about taking checks, honey. She said, if you lazy, you get sent home. To Alexis' credit, I get where she's coming from. But I'm going to improve on it. It's okay, Kenny. I definitely will give you a 3 strikes you're out rule. I can understand people's mental health affecting them and them not being able to perform effectively. I think that's what was happening with Charlotte some years back when she was just basically out there and she just looked like she didn't give a shit. I think she was just mentally burnt out. So I would give you a chance to fix that. Okay, listen, I'm going to give you a couple weeks off. You come back, you refresh. We're going to let somebody come in, kind of take up the feud a little bit. And then you come in, we'll give you a big pop for that. Y'all keep it going. But if you come back after that refresher and you still ain't it, I'm be like, listen, I'm giving you opportunities. This is your second strike. I'm giving you a chance to get your shit together. If you don't fix it, I'm going to have to move on from you. If you get another opportunity and you bomb on that shit, you're gone. I can't keep fucking with you. So it's not like a 3 strikes. It's more like I'm going to stop and say, hey, are you okay? Do you need some time? We'll give you some time. We will rewrite this so that we can have somebody else come in and either add them to this to take the load off of you or make it so you get a little bit of time or a little bit of break. And then we'll pull them off and put them on somebody else. And then if you keep fucking up, I'm be like, hey, get your shit together. And if you keep fucking up, I'm be like, no. Feud over. Go sit down. That's how I would do it. I forgot to say earlier, I don't care what's going on, but if Bianca and Montez go to SmackDown, I need that Glamourella idea to happen. Donna's a mess. Alexa said, if it's a break that you need, that's honored. But if you aren't going through it, then there's no reason. You are in a position of a lot of wrestlers want, and you don't seem to care. She said, and if you don't care about your position, then I can find someone who wants yours. Well, she right. I can't argue with her. Good sis is right. Don said, do you even want to be here? I mean, that's a good take. That is a very good take. I am not gonna lie. Because they are right. Child. Like that is 100% true. Nah, for real. Lacey will be gone. Ooh. I want to say that Lacey is being a character because Lacey Evans has never tweeted out this type of bullshit before. So I'm starting to think that she's trying to draw as much heat on herself as possible. Because it seemed like it's a very much a drastic change from before. And it just seemed like she is doing what she always do, which is working. And I understand how that could be dangerous for some and controversial for others, but I think it's kind of similar to what MJF is doing. Like most of the time, MJF is working. Like it's a rarity where MJF is not working, and that's usually when somebody says something xenophobic to him or racist about somebody else. That's the only time where he be dead ass serious. But 90% of the time, it's a work. I just don't believe. I would hope. I'll say this. I would hope that Lacey is smarter than this. After everything that Lacey Evans has been through, with her parents, her being able to have her own family and do her own thing, like, I would imagine she would be more progressive than that. You know what I mean? It just looks like that's not the case. So I would say I would give her the benefit of the doubt. Oftentimes, those personas online are not even a clear representation of them 100%. Because if that's the case, then we can hold Becky to the same standard and we can hold Charlotte to the same standard because they use their Twitter accounts and operate as character and as their personal. So, I mean, they've tweeted out and said shit about wrestlers, and we've just, left it alone. And they've tweeted out and said stuff, but I can understand in this case with Lacey, where it's not even about wrestlers; it's just her tweeting something out or speaking or doing something online. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just trying to give her the benefit of the doubt. I really am, because I don't think everybody is a piece of shit. I don't think everybody's a piece of shit, and I just don't. I never saw Lacey doing any of this shit before. She would have been doing this all throughout 2019, 2020, especially when Trump was president. When that shit was at its height, you would have seen it. You know what I'm saying? It would have been tweeted out. So something about this is a little fishy. That's all I'm saying. She would have been saying all of that stuff during that time, and she wasn't. Now, it could be she didn't come across the information, but highly doubtful, because even I came across them QAnon posts and shit, and I know she did because Sasha ass was tweeting that shit out and putting that shit all over Instagram too. Like, they was being whole ass weirdos, especially during the pandemic. Okay. I can agree. If 99% of my locker room can't slack, then why are you? Well, I agree. I think Lacey Evans was pulled too early from NXT. I would send her back. I don't think Lacey's gonna work at this in this character because they're not honing it correctly. I think they should make her go back to the Southern Belle character. It don't have to be as obvious with the hats and the stuff. But personally, I liked her Southern Belle character. I thought it was a good character. I didn't have a problem with it until she can come up with something a little bit more tangible that's not as crazy. Like I would have her decked out, like she be wearing her stuff, and she go to the damn thrift store and get her skirts and outfits and shoes. But I still would have her being the Southern Belle. She just would be more along the lines of Rosie the Rooter. You know, she'd be a little bit more rough around the edges. You know what I'm saying? But I like that character. I thought that character hit. And even when she became a face and she was more along the lines of her soldier persona, I like that character too. But it's something about after 2020. It's like when Lacey got pregnant, because she went back to that Southern Belle around the time when she was messing with Ric Flair. Storyline wise. Like dead ass, I was like, damn, you ain't have to announce your pregnancy like Ric Flair was your baby daddy. That was gross. I was like, ew. Oh, anyways, I'm hoping that it is that Lacey improves, and I would send her back to NXT though. I think that she could definitely do something with it. Like Lacey's not a bad talent. I just think she needs a little bit more work around the edges as well. Now I say y'all giving Lacey too much flack. This lady is working, y'all. He said that when it comes out, y'all know what I want. Y'all know what I want. Child, Lacey is annoying. When Lacey and Cardi got into it on Twitter, that shit was funny as hell. I don't find Lacey to be annoying. I mean, character-wise, she can be. But I enjoy Lacey Evans as a character. I thought she was great. Wrestling wise, I feel like she could do better. I will say this: Tiffany Stratton's moonsault is better than Lacey's. The problem is Tiffany aim for her moonsault is a little off. She definitely needs to fix that. I'm just saying. But her moonsault is prettier, and it looked like it's a lot more agility. But given the fact that she has a gymnast background, I would expect nothing less from Tiffany Stratton. You know what I'm saying? But the first time I seen that type of moonsault, well, that's just me because I haven't been watching wrestling outside of the E and AEW. So the first time I seen somebody jump up on the ropes like that and do a moonsault was with Lacey Evans. And I've always admired that. And I feel like Lacey can be great. She just needs some honing. Maybe Lacey could get a manager. She could talk for herself, but she needs somebody to help guide her along. And I think that's what Ric Flair was gonna be doing for Lacey. But I don't know. They're gonna have to work towards that. They're gonna have to figure that out. Becky was doing the same thing. She was. I said this in the group chat. If this was really Lacey, she would have spewed this stuff in 2020. That's what I thought. I'd be real cunt if I was in charge. There are people on catering I could put on ready to go if you're too bothered to do your job. Ooh. Rosie the Riveter. Y'all know what I meant. You know what I meant. Similar to what Finn, Charlotte, Mandy, and New Day, who are some of the main roster superstars, you would send to NXT to win a title. If Naomi came back, I would send her back to NXT to win a title. It'd be for a small amount of time, small window of time. I send Dana back to NXT immediately. I feel like Dana would benefit from being in NXT, and NXT would benefit from Dana. I sent Emma down there. I think Emma would benefit being in NXT for a little while and then coming up to the main roster and just taking over. Emma, wrestling wise, ain't many people on the roster who could really fuck with her in that ring, but I would send her down there. I send Nikki Cross back to NXT. Unless they decide to put Sanity back together somehow and they re-sign Eric Young and bring Sanity onto the main roster again. Like, The only way I could see Nikki making it, because everybody wanted her to be Crazy Nikki again. Well, you got Crazy Nikki, and it ain't nothing but another variation of Nikki Ash, just without the just her being insane now. So there you go. That's what I was trying to tell you. It really wouldn't have mattered. I prefer Nikki to actually be sane and working, because when she was with Bliss, she worked. When she was with Bliss, she worked. But some of y'all are crazy. So crazy begets crazy, I guess, squirrel. Anyways, who else would I send back to NXT? I already said Mustafa. I would send Mustafa back. Ladies wise, I would send Piper back down there. And like I'm saying, I wouldn't send them down there because I don't want them on the main roster. Like, if there's nothing going for them at the moment, NXT has space. I would send them down there to help so that those guys can learn from those main roster guys, and really so they can get a break from moving all over the country, but also to help the talent develop. I would send no more than 2 wrestlers from each division at a time. So I would send 1 from the women's division, 1 from the men's division, or I would send 2 from the men's division, 2 from the women's division, and that'd be it. I wouldn't take up a lot of slots from other people, but they would have a stint that would last maybe 1 or 2 months. If they're going to become champion and be what Mandy was, then of course they would be more stabilized in NXT than the other one would. But I would immediately send the other person back to the main roster. Like, I definitely would take painstaking like, I would be very, very precise about where I place people and when they would come in. So 1, they wouldn't eclipse my talent that's coming in. And 2, my next in line talent can develop effectively. Even though these veterans are in NXT, I still would do it that way. I would send Dom down there immediately. I feel like Dominic, character-wise, has understood what he has to do to draw heat and to be great at being a heel character. But wrestling-wise, he is mediocre. He is mid as fuck. And I expected more from him because he's a second-generation superstar. He needs to go to NXT. He needs to go. It's stationary. He's not going nowhere. And that'll be good for his marriage to his girl, his fiance too, because he'll be in NXT in Florida. He's not leaving and going nowhere. They only travel at certain times of the year. But no, he'd be back at NXT. He'd be in NXT, in my opinion. Character-wise, he developed very quickly. So I'm not going to shit on him in that regard. But in the ring, Dominic is not fun to watch in the ring. It's like he doesn't know how to move his body properly. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's uneasy in his own body in that ring. That's how it reads to me. But child, I would hope that he develops and keeps going, and then Dominic can be good at what he does. I think he needs to put on some more muscle, personally, in the leg department. Arms wise, I think he needs to tone up more too. And that's coming from somebody who fat. But if it was me and I was wrestling, I would be taking. Matter of fact, the person that I would go to, and y'all gonna be like, are you fucking kidding me? But I'm serious. The person that I would go to tone myself up if I was Dominic would be Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal. I would go to Jinder. 100%, I would go to Jinder. And the reason why is because I feel like Jinder, out of most of the wrestlers, is the most cut. His body is the most lean out of everybody. When you look at Jinder Mahal's body, for real, like, there's few men on the roster who has his body type, right? He's very tall, but he's not slender. However, he has his muscle mass all is everywhere. Like, that man is very, very precise in the body department, and he's trained himself beautifully, right? But if it was me, I'd be going with Jinder. Like, hey, Jinder, hey, can you work out with me? Can you help me bulk myself up? I don't want to be big, but I want to be cut. I want to be lean. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like if given that opportunity, Dom could really get himself into really impeccable shape. His father used to be in impeccable shape. When he was a younger guy, Rey Mysterio was fine. Okay? Fine. You was like, damn, right? I'm out here with the lips and shit. What the fuck? Like I definitely think he could benefit from being around bigger guys and training with them. Let me get some of y'all comments in. But who else would I send NXT? I probably would send Ridge Holland back. I think Ridge Holland didn't really get an opportunity to shine in NXT because after he got injured, he had a short stint and then he was immediately pulled up. But I would send Ridge back. I feel like Ridge deserves to have an opportunity to do what he set out to do in NXT. I'm trying to think of who else. I can't think of nobody else. I really can't. So let's go on to the next take. I'm a star. Kenny's. God. Kenny said Paige is a one-trick pony. I agree. I feel like oftentimes we get in our head that people are a specific way and that they are like superiorly great and like if they go somewhere else they're going to be amazing, and when they do go somewhere else the cracks show. And I think that Paige is a very good example of that. When you have no structure, you have no direction, and you're left to your own devices, it really proves how great you are at what you say you are. And in terms of Paige, the WWE really was holding her hand throughout her entire career, and you can tell. You can tell. So oftentimes where the fans be shitting on WWE and accusing them of stifling talent, they are more so the ones who are structuring and keeping them. They're the ones who are keeping them from going off of the deep end. They're the ones who are shaping the talent so that you see what you see. What Nikki Bella said on the podcast is very true. Perception is 9/10 of the law. Like that is what you're going to see. You're going to see what we want you to see, not what you want to see. You're going to see what the WWE wants you to see, which is fair because that's what you see when you watch Netflix. That's what you see when you watch regular old television from ABC, NBC, CBS, and Fox and everywhere. They are structuring television and curating it through the eyes that they want you to see. That's not normal. That's regular ass television, and whether Nikki Bella wants to admit it or not, that's how reality TV works as well. It is structured to be viewed as the person who is curating it wants it to be viewed. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So she's right on that regard. There's nothing wrong with that though, because oftentimes that story needs to be curated and structured in a particular way from start to finish so that it makes sense. If I leave it to you to make the decisions of what needs to be done in this story and it doesn't go over well, then you're standing there holding your hands out like, what do I have to do now? Paige is like that. I'm sorry. I never saw Paige as somebody who was going to stand out of the crowd because she was better. Paige stood out because she was unconventional in looks and she was unconventional in her wrestling. Is she like the greatest wrestler in the world? No, but she's okay. She is okay. She's not bad, you know, but she represented what WWE would never have chosen at a given time. And they were in an era where it was time to start pulling in talent that was unconventionally pretty or regal beauties. And they came in and they were able to attract the other types of fans that they were looking to pull in. The emo wrestlers, the sports fanatics, the wrestling, professional wrestling fans, like they wanted that style of fan or multiple styles of fans to come in, and Paige kind of gave them a taste of that, as did AJ Lee, if that's what you like. She represented that fanboy fantasy of a female superstar, and she still does to this day. But I agree. I said bring in Sergeant Slaughter. I don't want to see Sergeant Slaughter's big chin ass running around with motherfucking Lacey Evans. He can barely talk. Nobody like him. Pick somebody else. Pick somebody else. Pick somebody else. Get somebody else to do it. Get somebody else to do it. He said, I'd make Emma and Dana and Tina again. I wouldn't mind that. I wouldn't mind that. Mustafa and Carmelo would print money. I think Carmelo could pretty much wrestle with anybody and that shit would go hype. But it would be a good match between Mustafa and Carmelo. I would love that. Dom is good at the basics. What basics we talking about? But he has no depth. He needs depth. The problem is his main trainer was a 4-foot luchadora. I don't agree with that, because Brian Kendrick trained a lot of people. Big, tall, fat, small. He trained a lot of people, and Brian Kendrick is short than most people. And all of them don't wrestle like Dominic. I know for a fact Shotzi Blackheart is taller than Brian Kendrick. So, shit. I don't agree with that. Nope. He needs to train with people that can wrestle but still do power moves. That part I agree with. Paige and Tony have proven they aren't worth the hype. They formed a trio with Ruby, who's been reduced to jobber status. Maybe that can help Ruby boost it, though. Maybe that can help boost Ruby. I don't know. Me personally, I would do everything in my power to get Ruby back, because I feel like now would be the perfect time to bring her in. And honestly, you could put Ruby in as one of the next people to get one of them titles. That's one person that I would bring into the E and immediately put the title on them. That is one of the only people I would do that for. She is one of the only ones. You know why? Because I know Ruby's going to rise to the occasion. I fucking hated Ruby when she was a heel, and she was damn good at it. Damn good at it. Oh, she's the only one that I would do that for, though. That's just life, to be honest. I can't. This can't be the same Ruby from WWE. It definitely is. It definitely is. Perception is per person, but sometimes you do need to have your ear on the streets. They hyped her up so much when she got there and did nothing. That also is a testament to booking. Like, I feel like oftentimes when you look at how the companies book their talent, like AEW just throw you out there. You know, they just throw you out there. And if you die, you die. That's kind of their philosophy. And then they'll pull you for like 4 weeks and then put you back out there as if you still got things to discuss. And like nobody cares by the time they put you back out there. What's the difference between Ruby in the WWE and Ruby in AEW? The Ruby in WWE actually posed a threat. The Ruby we got that was a part of the Ruby Riot Squad, the Ruby we got in WWE posed a threat to either title. Even when Ronda was there and they had her wrestling Ronda and Ronda beat her, Ruby still was a plausible threat to anybody holding a championship. That's true. On the microphone, there were few people who could fuck with Ruby, period. I have yet to see Ruby do anything of substance in AEW like what she did in WWE. And that's just the true tea. I don't like Paige because of her self-entitlement attitude. Ruby not doing nothing different, and that's shitty. I mean, she made that bed. If I was Ruby, I would have stayed a free agent and wrestled there. I have to respectfully agree. I would agree. The trainer ain't the problem. It's the trainer being his dad. Because your daddy is biased and he want to see you do his shit And that's the issue. I put Ruby on NXT. I would bring in Aaliyah and have her team with Dominic in NXT if I was in the... Why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you have Ruby team with Dominic in NXT for what? I mean, Aaliyah team with Dominic in NXT. Why would you do that? That's such a weird take to me. She come in like Drew and keep going, period. And I wouldn't give a damn. I definitely would have let her come in and be champion. Ruby would have been a 2-time champ had she still been in the company and had the machine behind her. But I understand why she left. I mean, she was cut. Let's be real, she was cut. But at the same time, like, I liked Ruby. And I thought Ruby could have been great. She really could have. She is catching up to Bliss fucking with me. All those folks signed contracts and didn't care. I mean, at the time, I understood it. But if it had been me, I would have went back. I would have made it so that I would have had a 1 or 2 year contract. I would not have signed 5 years. I would not have signed 5 years. I would have made it a 1 or 2 year contract so I can leave and hone my options. You know what I'm saying? Jamie Hayter is one of the best AEW champs they have, and you never see her. I don't. That ship sailed. Unless Sarah is out, and they won't do that. True. My mans. That don't make no sense. I honestly do not... I would not enjoy seeing Dominic and Aaliyah together. That just doesn't make any sense to me. Some of y'all just be talking. What would they be called? No mic skills? I don't know. Stick in the mud. Like his sister, y'all know some kids have the wrestlers as parents that have parents. That some kids that have wrestlers as parents don't want to follow in those footsteps sometimes. True. I wouldn't have signed to that shit show, period. No one's asking for raised kids anywhere. I mean, I'm just saying, like, so, like, I think Dominic being on the main roster in the beginning was okay. But I feel like before he joined Judgment Day, they should have wrapped up this shit with Dom and Ray, got it over with, and sent his ass to NXT. That's just how I feel about it. He should have been in NXT, running roughshod in NXT, doing something. He should have been doing something down there. Because he's not a bad character. He just gets on my nerves, which rightfully so. He's doing what he's supposed to do. But he just irritates my soul. He gets on my nerves. Oh, we got another tape. Judgment Day needs to be a footnote by now. If Judgment Day don't disband at WrestleMania or after WrestleMania, I'm gonna have a problem with that. I feel like at this point, Damian Priest is the only one that's an afterthought in that whole group, and I never would have thought I'd see the day where Damian Priest is not utilized or thought about on this roster in any way, shape, or form. Rhea got a match at WrestleMania. Hell, Dominic gonna have a match at WrestleMania. Fucking Finn got a match at WrestleMania. And Damian Priest ain't got nothing? Ciao. Ciao. Never thought I'd see the day. Never thought I'd see the day. Jade Cargill, IDK, if I spelled her name right, I believe you did, would be taken more serious as a champ if she was in any other company. But that's just me, who doesn't see her as a serious champ because she doesn't have serious opponents, in my opinion, whenever I see her. So in Jade Cargill's defense, right? In Jade Cargill's defense, Jade has had serious opponents. Red Velvet was a former baddie of hers. They wrestled. She beat him. She's gone up against everybody on that roster, even the current champion, I believe. She's gone up against her as well. Jade is 50-0. There is nobody else on the roster for her to blow through. The problem is they have now backed themselves into a corner with Jade and they don't know what to do with her. When in reality, all they have to do is take the damn title off of her, or if they want to preserve her championship or her 50-0, all she has to do is be like, listen, this title is cute, but I'm vacating it because I want bigger gold. So, Tony, come get your shit. And I'm coming after you, Jamie Hayter. That's how I be. I be telling Tony, like, this is the pitch. This is where we're going. I'm 50-0. I'm definitely the best. I'm the only champion here who is undefeated. The only one. I'm the only champion who was booked the strongest out of everybody who's champion right now. I had some of the best stories going in WWE. My own spots on the shows. I mean, in AEW. Own spots on the show. And countless people going up against. From Ruby to Jamie to Tony to anybody. Anybody who wants to smoke can get it. I have wrestled everybody. Put me in the main championship title spot. Put me in that spot. Because I have the sneaking suspicion. Let me see who won at Revolution. Because I think that Jamie retained. But that's when Ruby turned. This match card was long. It was long. Hi ho. Hi ho, hi ho, it's off to work we go. Oh, Ricky Starks beat Chris Jericho. Really? I'm not surprised by that. House of Black got the championship, so they are now the new Trios champions. All right, Jamie Hayter did retain her championship, but Ruby Soho ended up turning and becoming a part of their little crew. Samoa Joe's still a double champion. I didn't fucking know that. Wardlow became the TNT champion. They call him War Daddy. Ew, that's gross. That's nasty. The Guns retained on this championship match. Okay, babes. Wow. I thought the Guns would have dropped the titles to somebody, but they retained. Hold tight, y'all. Let me get the comments up. This thing acting up today. Okay. Okay. Rhea needs to drop them by Money in the Bank. I think she should drop it by Backlash, to be honest with you. She don't need them. She should drop them by Backlash. Judgment Day should be over after Mania or at Backlash. They should be over. No bitches, no bitches. Because Damian don't have no beef. I forgot Priest was in it. See what I'm saying? Damian is the help. But that's the problem. Like, what? Y'all was hot for Damian Priest. Like, what the fuck? I disagree, Kenny. Jade is about the only person they take serious. Well, yeah, but she wasn't on the AEW Revolution card, and she definitely should have been, seeing as how she is another champion in their company, and she was not on there. Also, Orange Cassidy's transatlantic wasn't, is it transatlantic or whatever the case may be? That damn championship Orange Cassidy got wasn't on the card either. Y'all knew I was fuego for Priest. Yeah, and every feud ain't gonna be hot, but she's had hot feuds, and she does the story well. She has. I still say they should have dropped that belt to Red Velvet. That's just me. But they want to keep her as a unbeatable champion. I'd have her be double champ, like 60-0 double champ. Oh hell no, that's overkill. I don't want to see no more double champions for a long time. Roman don't ruin that for me. I don't want to see that. No more double champs, for the love of God, please, please. You're killing me. I guess I just would have to watch her more. I think when you go, like, when you I mean, you could just peek into Dynamite or Rampage, Kenny. You don't have to watch the whole show. When she's on there, she wrestles. Oftentimes she has feuds going. Like that shit with Bow Wow was whack in my opinion. It didn't really lend to nothing, which I was just like, what was the point? Like, what is you doing, fam? But whatever. I see Chris Statlander taking the title off of her, off of Jade. I mean, cool. I'm all for double champs, just not a long period of time. I like stories. They ain't gonna let her beat that. No, no, no. I don't want to see that. Double champs can be done right, but most times it hinders the respective divisions of that said title. You're talking about making her champion with both the TBS title and the main championship for the women's division, because those are the only titles that they have. So she would be the champion over both divisions. She would stifle two sectors of the women's division. I can't do that. I don't care how long it is. I don't want to see that. I don't. And I love Jade, but she could be just the women's champion. That belt would look amazing on Jade. That AEW Women's Championship is massive now, as it should be, equal to the men's title. And I definitely would have her be champion, but she's not about to be a double champ. Like, I would never do that. Only for the sake of the women's division. That's what Orange has. He was in the ring. He was in that tag match for the tag belts with Danhausen. Oh, so he actually did wrestle on the show. He just didn't defend his title. I mean, okay. But hey, he's huh? I mean, all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, cool. Whatever works for you. Yep. And put her in a triple threat. Put that TBS top belt up. I'm not doing that. I am not doing that. I am not doing that. Nar, in the words of Rico, nar, I'm not doing that. I do not want to see her be double champion. No, I don't understand how you can abdicate for that. I'm so disappointed. Oh my goodness. I need some water, child. Ugh. I love you, Rosa, but Jesus, you trying to kill us. Like, maybe next year. Maybe next year we can deal with a double champion again. But goddamn, we've been dealing with a double champion for 3 years. 3 years, babe. We're tired, Donnie. We're tired, okay? We're tired. We're sick. We're sick of it. All right, I'm gonna go off. I'm gonna leave around 8:30 so I can talk with the boys and do the show. Supposed to do the Fashion Files today. No, Don. No, we tired. We is tired. You know what? If they do that shit, I am sending a pigeon carrier to your house to purposely slap your ass for making this, get them this damn idea in the first place. It's gonna be all your fucking fault. I'm like, this nigga here. God damn. You ain't have to curse us like this, damn it. Y'all got any more hot takes? I'm gonna give y'all the rapid fire. We're not recording today. We're doing it tomorrow because Nicole is off tomorrow, but we're supposed to do fashion files today. And usually you would be doing homework, and Nicole has to work today, and I know for a fact Janae is working. So we were supposed to do fashion files 3 weeks ago. So I have to do it this week. Donna's gonna take the charge on fashion files because I ain't had no time to gather no stuff. I had a couple things I had to do for my business this week, and I had some other stuff that I had to do. So I had a couple stuff that I had to do. So he gonna take the lead on fashion files this week. I'ma just follow what he doing. She said, "Nah, fuck that bird. I have his address. I'll just show up." Damn. No, just the fashion files. He said, "Now she got my address." I forgot about that. Ooh, child. Nope, I got nothing. LA Night voice. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty night. Girl, listen. I don't have nothing. I haven't had time to even pull nothing from the infinite waves for the fashion files. You said you've been compiling stuff for over a month. You got it. I'm just gonna let you take lead. You and Rico can take lead, and I'll be there to facilitate. Just send a picture in the group chat so I can see it, and then I can give my commentary because I need to get it done. I promised y'all we would do it, and that's what we're gonna do. Not the LA Night, child. They messy up and through here. All right. So, y'all got any more hot takes before I bounce on out of here and be out y'all hair, child? Give y'all some time. No, nothing. We all out of hot takes. Well, next week, I may or may not do hot takes again, but I promised the girls we would do hot takes on the podcast. So I saved some of my personal hot takes for that. And I most definitely am going to be doing it on the podcast with Alexis, Nicole, and Janae. Hopefully all the girls will be able to be there. And we're gonna finish this out this week with the hot takes. Kitty said, "No, I'm just waiting for that person to tell us what they look like without makeup." I don't think they're here, baby. I think they left. Women's wrestling fans are just as bad as male wrestling fans. Well, I'm gonna take it a step further. Some of y'all gotta stop acting like just because a female wrestler is more feminine than the other, that somehow makes them better than the other. I don't like that. I also don't like the fact that oftentimes, now I'm not gonna lie, I'll get up and I'll compare and contrast and everything and all that good shit it's cool. But like oftentimes I find that not just female wrestling fans, but male wrestling fans as well, y'all will judge a wrestler, and if they're not pretty enough for you to watch, you don't want to watch them wrestle. Like a lot of times I see Shayna get a lot of hate because she's not a conventional beauty. She's not the typical pretty girl that we would see wrestling in the E. And that part really irritates me because Shayna Baszler is a dope ass wrestler. And whether she's conventionally pretty or an unconventional beauty is not up to you. What you see and what you like about her is your own personal business, but you cannot deny that that woman is one of the best wrestlers on that roster. And I wish sometimes that you would be, your wrestling skill would come first sometimes, but if you don't have that, then the persona comes next. You see what I'm saying? So oftentimes I just wish that people would just be like, oh, she's, and I've heard a lot of people in the gay community specifically, they will target a specific wrestler for something that they have done maybe once or twice, and that will become the moniker for them. And it's not just in the gay community. Let me rephrase. It's the IWC as a whole. Because what I find with the gay community more specifically is that oftentimes I'll see people just being mad at their gear. Like Rico is an example of that, but he's not the one that I'm speaking of. Like oftentimes I will see people just being like, oh, her gear's trash, I'm not going to watch her. And it's like, well, there's more to the wrestler than just their gear, babe. You know what I'm saying? And I wish people wouldn't do that, because then you make it harder for them to be able to succeed, because you're cutting them off before they can even get out there. And some of y'all have really big platforms on Instagram. Like some of y'all are massive on Instagram. Y'all bigger than me, and y'all be out here just defaming people. And then will have the nerve to come to my page and come at my neck for what I say about certain wrestlers. But y'all on there calling Sasha Banks flopsha. Y'all are on there disrespecting Becky to the hills. Y'all be calling Charlotte all types. It be the shit I be seeing on other people's pages be baffling me. But the moment I say something about anybody that y'all are enamored with, it's World War III. That shit bothers my soul. I don't like that. Now, I don't mean like the whole gay community is the only ones who do it, because they are not. So I won't marginalize them, and I won't single them out as the only people who are doing things. That's not fair. So let me rephrase. The people who I've seen who have done it are part of the LGBTQIA plus community. They often will target certain people because they feel like they are not cunt enough, or they're not, they're not giving enough off that they prefer from their female wrestlers. And the way I see it is gravitate to the people that you like. Others, don't worry about. Unless they're in the limelight and you're seeing them wrestle and they have a story, that's fine. You can joke and jest about them all you want to. I don't have no issues with that. But it's just that it just makes me laugh a little bit, because y'all will like, and it's just not them. Like I said, it's anybody within the IWC, especially if they have their face, they will attack immediately. And they won't give him a chance. Like, I went after Kiana, but I didn't go after Kiana for her wrestling prowess. I went after her because I don't like her persona. Like I said, it triggers me. I don't like it. It irritates my soul. Oftentimes, though, the things I say is under the kayfabe. It is about the wrestler in the storyline as a whole. If they're a heel, I'm reacting and responding to them as a heel. I have seen people be attacked face, heel, regardless, it doesn't matter. They're going after their neck. They tearing them apart. And it's like, damn. Like, they don't even get out the blocks, bro. Like, let them breathe just a little bit. They be like, no, they're not giving. They're not giving. I'm like, they haven't even had a chance to give. Like, what are you talking about? We haven't had a chance. It's just, that's disappointing. I will say that. But to go back to Don's point, I mean, he's right. Like, it's always, it is a very much a trope that women's wrestling fans are better than male wrestling fans. I mean, to an extent, we are. we smell better, but but they can be just as misogynistic, just as disrespectful, just as cruel, just as rude, just as honorary as any other wrestling fan, binary, non-binary alike, and gender specific alike. Like, they can be just as bad. So we kind of have to get away from that trope that women's wrestling fans are better than male wrestling fans. I forgot when we were supposed to do 6 brown triggers. When I get to it, I haven't gotten to it yet. Saying I just watch for the women, I only support the women, it's just as wrong as only watching for the men. I find it to be weird. I feel like it's a whole show. Like it's a whole show. Like if you are watching, let's say you watching Desperate Housewives. Like Donnie watches all of those shows, and you only watch the shows because you only like one specific woman on that show. Are you not gonna watch the whole show though? You're not gonna like pick out the scenes that she's in and then not watch the show. You're gonna watch the whole show from start to finish. And I don't like certain wrestlers, but I'm not sitting here turning it off because I don't see any more of my favorites on the screen, male or female. I'm not doing that. So I find it to be strange. I don't like that. Rico does that sometimes. Rico will not watch the men wrestle, but will watch the women's matches and be like, well, I'm not watching no more. I'm good. Like you be missing good shit. Like you missing everything. Like what? Like the women only have a small amount of time, which is bad enough in itself, but you're missing at least 2-3 hours of a show. And like I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do that. Alba Fire should go to SmackDown and take the SmackDown Women's Championship expeditiously. Really? Well, Alba looks like she's going to be on NXT for a little while longer. It looked like her and Isla are going to be taking them championships very, very soon. Probably as Stand and Deliver. They might be champions or they may end up taking them afterwards. Never know. Never know. Uh-huh. Okay. I hadn't gotten to it yet because it wasn't time for the SBC chat. I was trying to make sure everybody had put their hot takes in the chat first before I brought up the SBC chat. So because of that, that's why I responded that way. Because I'm like, well, I haven't gotten to it yet. When I get to it, I haven't gotten to the chat yet. So I wasn't not going to do it. I just hadn't gotten to it yet. All right. So for everybody that was here for the wrestling stuff, appreciate you. Thank you so much. I'm going to go to do the SBC chat because we always end with the SBC chat. And then I am going to be ousty. So if you are sticking around for the SBC chat, thank you very much. If you are not, totally understand that. Totally get that. I will see you guys next time. Don't forget to follow me on socials. That is all scrolling at the bottom in the banner. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the other lives. I might start posting some other content on this channel as well to kind of help fill out the days so I can have content on the channel free flowing. But if you want to follow on my other socials, like I said, they're strolling on the bottom. Don't forget to go ahead and follow Down for the Count. I'm getting ready to get off of here and record Down for the Count. Right now, we're getting ready to do Fashion Files. So if you're interested in that, please look out for it. It'll be up within the next 2 days. But right now, there are 3 full episodes, hour-length long episodes up there of more hot takes that we did. So you guys ain't missing nothing. All right, we did a whole episode of hot takes over here, whole episode of hot takes on Down for the Count, and we'll probably do another one tomorrow with the girls so that they can have an opportunity to join in on hot takes because they were not available and Nicole and I was. All right, if you want some more regular stuff, you know, like more personal stuff, more stuff from around the internet waves, don't worry, it is coming. We got a situation with Candace Owens that I need to talk about with this fat phobia bullshit, and then we have a situation with those kidnapped Americans in Mexico who 2 of them were killed and the other 2 were safely found and rescued. I tried to give you as much information on it as possible and give you my thought process into it. The more information that comes out, the more I will update you on that. And I'm getting ready to post those episodes within the next couple of hours. So make sure you go over to the KTT and follow me on Spotify. And I'm also available on Anchor right now. Those 2 episodes are going to be up. And of course, tomorrow is Thursday. So Am I the Asshole post will go up tomorrow as well. Okay. But for now, we're going to do the SBC chat. Okay. Yeah, you heard about it. Yeah, it's real bad. It is really, really bad. Okay. So let me go ahead and get the screen share up so y'all can see the first question for the SBC. All right. Question number 1 says, I listen to my wife's calls because she lies. I overheard her planning an orgy, so I crashed her. Ooh. Listen to my wife's call because she lies. I overheard her planning an orgy, so I crashed her event. She accused me of being abusive and controlling. I was beaten and sexually spanked by 2 naked men. I hate my wife, but I don't want to fail that marriage. Nigga, it's failed. Nigga, it's failed. What? Sir, first of all, how you go into this situation with the upper hand and then turn around and get beaten up and spanked sexually by 2 men? How that happen? And they naked? Sir, you better file for divorce from your wife and make it so that it's irreconcilable differences. And if it's that serious for you, file for an annulment. That way the marriage never happened. It's never on the books. It's gone. It's erased. Seal the records. Get rid of it. Get rid of the record. Let it be what it is. Because ain't no way. The advice is get your ass up out of there. Because she don't even respect you. She don't respect you. And for her to call you abusive and controlling, and she out here having an orgy with other people, and then you go catch her, and the only thing you get is beaten up and spanked for your efforts, that bitch will be SOL messing with me. SOL. There's no fucking way. None. You're out of your mind. Now he got spanked. Yeah, he didn't pass that test. Not sexually spanked by 2 naked men, child. 2 of them. By two, honey. Honey. Let's go to the next question because that was a mess. About question 1. We listened to the wife's orgy planning recording. It's bad. Sis had it organized by couple and penis performance from a previous event. Hubby thought she was trolling him until she showed up. Oh! Tell me it's real. It's feeling that we feel. Tell me that is real. These hoes ain't loyal. Man, you are lying. Wow, that's crazy though. He said, what is this fear at failing marriage? Child, I don't know what none of that mean. All I heard was she planned the orgy, showed up, and I got my ass beat for my efforts. That would have been it for me. Matter of fact, the moment I walked through the door and seen a bunch of naked naked people, child. Let me clarify. The moment I seen a bunch of naked people, that's it for me. That's it for me. No, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I appreciate you. I got to go. I take my ring off. Appreciate you. Here you go. Here you go, baby. Thank you so much for the good years that we had. But I'm going to let you have this, okay? Okay, I'm going to let you have this. All right? Thank you so much. The divorce papers will be sent in the mail? Yes? All right, cool. I'll make sure you get served. But I'm good. Hey, that's my jam, child. No, they ain't. These hoes ain't loyal. Question number 2. Start off hot. I'm coming in hot. Anyway, my man attends birthday parties and dental appointments for his ex's child, not his. He ignores my toddler, also not his. I confronted his ex. She says they're not intimate, but why you jealous of my 3-year-old? I want to give him a baby, but he won't let me help. Girl, you girls are stupid. So I see this from both sides. This man has an established relationship with this child, so he's going to be there for the child. You haven't given us any other reason to believe that he is doing anything otherwise with this woman. You haven't given us no signs. You haven't said anything in this little post. So we have to go off of what you already put in the post, which basically is that you are mad that this man is coveting this other woman's child, and not coveting, but he's not doing for this child what he should be doing for your child. The reality is he's not obligated to do for your baby just as much as he's not obligated to do for hers. He has no legal obligation to that child or to you because y'all ain't got no papers. Y'all don't have no papers. He is not legally or morally obligated to do for your baby, despite the fact that you guys are together. That is what your baby daddy is for. That is what the court system is for. Now, he is well within his right to take upon himself to play a father or be a father figure to this particular child, especially if he had a relationship with this 3-year-old. That baby's very young. I wonder how long y'all been together, because I can only imagine that he got into this child's life when they was like 1. You feel me? So, because that's the only thing I could think of with him being attached to this child, is that he was there maybe when that baby was 1 or 2 years old. So he has an established relationship with them. And if it's been a year since he's been with his ex, that's a short amount of time. A lot of people think that's a long time, but that's a short amount of time to not be completely detached from your ex. So there could be some overlap in there with your relationship and his. And with all that being said, that's a decision that you are gonna have. That's something you're gonna have to take up with your man. Hold on. Yeah, that's something you're gonna have to take up with your man, babes. First of all, I wouldn't be jealous if he's doing something for this 3-year-old. But I would also ask why he doesn't want to have a relationship with my child. And if he explains it like, well, he already has a father, I don't want to step over his toes, that's different. If he's like, well, this child's father don't want to be in his life, and I've been with this child since he was 1 year old, then you have to understand that. You need to be concerned as to, one, where is your toddler's baby daddy at? That's the first question. Where the fuck is he at? Why is he not here taking care of your baby? Number 2, where is the 3-year-old's daddy? Where is his daddy at? Where is their daddy at? Because I'm just trying to understand, like, why y'all got this man that's not even the father of either of y'all babies running after these 2 kids, or you want him to run after yours, but he running after this 3-year-old. And quite frankly, I don't think that you're necessarily jealous of the 3-year-old, but I'm think you're jealous of the bond he has with that 3-year-old, and you believe that's going to be a gateway to him going back to his ex, which is very true. That is a real fear for you to have. But the thing is, if your man has not given you a reason to distrust him, and this has been happening with him since y'all have been together, and the baby mama is saying like, hey, we haven't slept together, and you have no evidence that they are in an intimate relationship outside of what you've seen with him taking care of the toddler, then you're gonna have to fall back. And having a baby with him is not going to change anything. Having a baby with him is not going to change anything. That's not going to strengthen his bond with you. That is a fallacy that all women make. It's a mistake. Having a child with a man to make sure he's stuck with you or closer to you is not going to do anything but make the situation worse. Don't bring an innocent child into no bullshit. Don't do that. Okay, I'm through. I'm is through. I'm is through. Okay. He busy girl. Oh wow. Hi Tirza. You came at the end, babes. I know you was at work, but I'm getting ready to go. I've been live for about 3 hours now. Had to go live today because I had to pull double duty. I got to do podcast with Donnie and Rico today, and I had to do this today. The hot takes today was pretty good. I might do it again next week at the regular time so everybody can be a part of it. But we're gonna move on to the question number 3 for the 6 brown chicks. Question number 3 says, Juice lived in my house rent-free for 3 months. Sex, drinks, and jerk chicken almost every night. He promised to divorce his wife after he got his tax refund, but he spent it all on her bills and gifts. She let him go back home. I'm broke and I can't heal. Advice. Girl, you got played. The advice is you got played, sis. His wife... What did you think he was gonna do? You gave him a place to stay. You gave up some booty for a couple months, and he was living there rent free. You didn't charge him no rent, sis. Was he working? Was he contributing to your household at all? And you up here making jerk marinade almost every night? You crazy in your motherfucking head? Shit. What the hell? And he promised, girl, a promise is just that, a promise. There ain't no commitment in no damn promise. His actions will prove to you what he gonna do. And he was laid up with you in your house because you let him. You let him. And you should have been smarter than that. So you got played. You got played, sis. And if I was you, I would move on. I wouldn't let him back in my house. I'd block his phone number. I'd take his shit to his wife's house so he could be with his wife fully. My number would change. I do everything I have to block that man from even knowing I exist anymore. And I wouldn't put him on blast. I wouldn't do none of that shit. Because I don't have time for that. Your ass need to heal from this broken cycle of bullshit of you accepting any parameters of a man just because he give you some good peen every now and then and y'all laid up, hugged up in the house together. Like, you really need to fall back and find out why you are accepting these type of parameters. Because there's no way. It's not that complicated. It's pretty clear of what's going on. Now he juiced her. All right. Dating a petite bipolar on meds. Sister from Philly. My landlord increased my rent and said I fantasized about burning down his crib. My landlord increased my rent and I said I fantasized about burning down his crib. Her, what's his address? Me, what you gonna do? Her, amateurs talk tactics. Pros discuss logistics. I'm afraid what to do. What, daddy? That's why I was telling mommy last night that I needed you to print it out again because the boy spilled something on it. Okay, I'm almost finished. Yeah, I just wanted 2 of the quarter page ads. I know I'm making up the marketing, I'm making up the ads today. I have to do it on my Canva app on my phone. Child, this child crazy. Now she bipolar, she on meds, but she don't have no problem going from 0 to 100. And at this point, you cannot say that kind of shit around her. She's talking about burning the shit down. Like, and if something happened, you could be liable. Like, you gotta be careful what you say around sis. Very careful. Because she's unstable. That baby said, amateurs talk tactics, pros discuss logistics. I'm still in that. I'm still. Hold on. I'm still that. Let's go to question number 5. When Marshall said he didn't want more kids, his girlfriend is pregnant now. I didn't think he meant he didn't want our kid. I told him on I was on birth control, but I lied. I got pregnant. He said don't call him again until I abort. Why? I know he loves me more than his girlfriend. Girl, he don't. Girl, you special. I don't know no other way to put it. It's like some of y'all be mad at the fact that these men are scumbags, but when they really are telling you straight up from the beginning the truth, they telling you everything you need to know. They are showing you who they are. You choose not to believe them, and then you sit and cry, woe is me. These men is dogs. Well, they can't be dogs without you being dumb enough to believe it. Now, come on, man. Come on. You are a grown woman sleeping with this man, knowing he has a pregnant girlfriend. And then you lied so you can get pregnant. And then he tells you, don't call me till you abort the kid. Oh, but I know he loves me more than his girlfriend. So why would he have me abort this kid? Bitch, because you're not his work. What is not clicking? What is not clicking with you? Like, I don't understand how you could even have this logic. He told you straight up, I do not want any more kids. What about that says that I want more kids with you? Girl, whatever you get, you earned. Is all I can tell you. Whatever you get, you earned. What is there to help on this one? Child, I don't know. But this girl is delusional. It's the best way to explain it. Because whatever you get, you earn. That's the only thing I can tell you. Damn. All right. Last one. Question number 6. My wife and I struggled with cocaine and meth for 5 years. Damn, y'all was double dipping. Shit. By God's grace, she's been clean for 2 months, and I'm working on it. But I miss the things we did when we were high. How to convince her to do meth with me on the weekends? I'm not evil, by the way. I just miss fun with my wife. Nigga. Oh my God. Are you serious? Sir, you want your wife who has struggled with addiction to go back on cocaine and meth because you miss being with your coked out meth head wife because it was fun. Baby, no, I'm not giving you that advice. No, because this right here is toxic. This right here is messy. This is fucking ridiculous. You can't tell me this is real. This is not real. This is not real. Were you high when you wrote it? Like, are you really trying to let's just be high on the weekends? That's some high shit. You definitely was on coke when you said that. Because there's no way. There's no way, sir. I don't. What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? You know what? On that note, I'm gonna go. Y'all have a good night. I'll see y'all later. Cause I can't do it. I can't do it no more.